Please rise for silent invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Foley.
Here.
Councilmember Tremont. Councilmember Bastian.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stiltner.
Here.
Mayor Burnett.
Here. We have a quorum. Workshop agenda tonight. We've got 2 items, the first of which we are going to lead with the state of the city. Wayne?
Need somebody to push play, Christine.
This is the part where I call on you so you can stall for time for Christine, right? Here you go.
Hello everybody, I'm Mayor Don Burnett of the City of Port Orange, and I come from you here at City Hall to talk to you about what's been going on in our city. 2020 was a tough year, but 2021, we've really come back. The things that we've done and we were able to enjoy together again, the 4th of July, Family Days, Halloween Fest, Christmas in the Park, the parade, and the events at Riverwalk. That was 2021, with much more to come in 2022. And right now, I give you the state of the city.
Maintaining smooth and efficient operations. Starting with public safety. The city invested in a training tower and other life-saving equipment for our fire department personnel. We continue to recruit the highest quality personnel in our public safety departments.
There's a reason that they made it through this process, which is very difficult to be standing here today and about to be sworn in as police officers. And it starts with upbringing, it starts with basically family. And just to let you know, while you're always their family, they have a new family as well. We'll be here to protect them, watch over them, to give them the training that they need to be successful.
Both the police and fire departments have been set up for long-range success with the hiring of our new chiefs. Cybersecurity. Safe drinking water. Emergency preparedness. Next, infrastructure. We improved the drainage system throughout the city, including a major east side project at Virginia and Monroe Streets, conducted extensive work by clearing ditches and pipes of debris and bringing street sweeping in-house. In November, the city experienced one of its most significant rain events in decades, and the city did not experience any notable flooding impacts. Water and sewer system enhancements were performed at Howe Street and Orange Avenue, including pipe replacements and repairing and lining older pipes. Sidewalk and street repair that included 7.5 miles of roadway resurfaced and 7,500 feet of sidewalks replaced. We are now seeing improvements with traffic flow on Dunlawton Avenue, thanks to collaboration with the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, and Volusia County to extend turn lanes and implement the Traffic Adaptive Signal System. Other quality of life impacts. Several family-oriented events at our parks. A Volusia County partnership that provided a $200,000 ECHO grant to help purchase playground equipment at the Airport Road Park. The Rec Facility, the city's first community center. Clubhouse improvements at the Cypress Head Golf Course. maintaining a high-level community appearance. Improving customer service with online bill pay and online permitting for our residents' convenience. And fiscal responsibility involving sufficient resources to address needs in the event of hurricanes or other emergencies. An audit with no major findings. Ongoing partnerships with various granting agencies such as ECHO, CDBG, FIND, and the TPO to receive funds for improvements to parks, repairing and building sidewalks, and better roadways for everyone. Private investments. Notable private investments in our community include healthcare facilities, restaurants, single and multi-family housing, other businesses, Eastport Business Park. In 2021, Farmex began its expansion in the Eastport Business Park. City staff has had conversations with 3 additional businesses about joining the business park. And coming soon, Riverwalk Progress. 2021 brought major progress in the highly anticipated Riverwalk area, combining multiple events at the park and the construction of Fish, which is expected to be the largest restaurant in Volusia County. In 2022 and beyond, we're excited to be making an even stronger impact in this area with the continued development of the Riverwalk project.
It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of property at an incredible location. There's nothing else like it anywhere in all of East Volusia County. And if you think it looks great during the daytime, I hope you've seen it at night, because the views at night, the skyline of the beach side, the reflections off the water, the lighthouse to the south, it's absolutely stunning.
While 2021 has been an exciting year, we are set for an even more positive 2022. Staff will continue to provide a safe, clean, and attractive community for everyone to be a part of. We look forward to the much anticipated projects at Riverwalk and Down Under, which will create a great riverfront destination and will be a source of community pride for generations to come. Our residents, businesses, and staff make this community a great place to live, work, and play. Enjoy every moment spent here. Port Orange, a city in Central Florida that is unique by choice, not by chance.
I think this is the part where everybody here claps, right? I just wanted to, first of all, Mick voicing it, Melanie's talents, Christine, and many others worked and I think did a terrific job of keeping it short and sweet, but totally on point. And I appreciate the work that they have done to bring you the video portion of that. I also wanted to thank all of our staff and our department heads, as well as our city manager and our city attorney, for the commitment to the high quality services our residents deserve and enjoy. Each person who works for Port Orange, it doesn't matter who they are, they add quality and they add to the overall quality of life for our residents. So that in part is really what keeps Port Orange special. So tonight our council will be reviewing a strategic plan. We sat down in 2016 and came up with the 2017 to 2022 plan. We'll be reviewing that. We don't need to recreate the wheel. It was a terrific work, and now it's what do we need to do to tweak it and make sure that we stay on track and make sure it continues to address our priorities. In advance of this, we held a town hall last month and invited input from our citizens. I do appreciate all the feedback as council looks forward to the next decade and what it'll hold for us. A couple of the highlights of what we'll be going over. Our commitment to public safety as a top priority has never wavered. Infrastructure, both visible and out of sight, we all know is vitally important. Our commitment to maintain quality of life options for our residents, that hasn't wavered either. Economic development that allows for jobs, consumer options, as well as a diversified tax base. Those are things that, and maintaining that tax base is among one of Volusia's lowest, is also a priority. And of course, all this cannot be accomplished without an organization that's committed to excellence. So what else do we have to look forward to in 2022 and beyond? You saw in the video expansion of the rec, our community center, which will be opening late summer. Halifax River crossing design, and improvements and water design, those in the next couple of years. All those things might, and when it comes to infrastructure, might not be terribly exciting, but are vitally important. And those are things that need to be there. We don't want, citizens shouldn't have to worry about infrastructure. It's an out of sight, out of mind thing until it fails, and we don't want it to fail. Howes and Orange Avenue drainage improvements you saw in the video. It'll be completed soon. Canal View drainage improvements completed later this year or early in 2023. And of course, Riverwalk. You saw that in the video. The land sale and the planning with construction starting as early as 2023. So with all of that to look forward to, I wanted to remember those of us in the past that helped get us here. So with that, I look forward to seeing you all on July 4th, our Independence Day celebration that brings thousands to our campus every year. This year we have an extra purpose, and I would like to announce that July 4th, if the council is willing, that we add a most deserving honoree to the Port Orange Wall of Fame. I'd like to say that Alan Green needs to be up there. It's past his time. He's set the bar high for all of us, and he is an example of what a public servant should be, and he deserves this recognition. So I think it's going to be a terrific holiday celebration. And lastly, it has been a pleasure of a lifetime for me working on behalf of this community and doing it with all of you. Drew, Scott, Chase, Reed, I look forward to future collaboration and future debates, because at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do together is maintain a high quality, family friendly community. So everyone here in the building, everybody up here on the dais, and everybody who's watching at home, I want to share one last thing, a pearl of wisdom my father once shared with me, and then I want to close with a challenge to you all. He said, never doubt that ordinary people can do extraordinary things, because it happens all the time. And if you look in our community, it's a perfect example of that. So I ask you, find a way to make a difference in the lives of one another, no matter how big or small. It doesn't matter. Look for it and seek it out, because together, that's how we can help keep Port Orange special. Thank you. And that is the state of the city for 2022. That brings us to item 5 on the agenda. Well, before we do that, I guess I should allow you all to chime in and comment on the state of the city. So, Scott, you're chomping at the bit a little bit.
Am I? I'm
Yeah,
not.
no, you actually took some notes. So,
You know what? First of all, thank you to staff. Who's the voice, the narration voice?
Mick Niels.
Mick, okay.
I've got a future, man. That sounds, I mean, great. Either we've got some really good editing folks, or there's a talent there. But
A little of both.
Is he here? Did he do that in one take?
Great job, great job.
He's a professional.
That guy's got a lot of talent.
But much thanks to the staff. They just have an incredible talent and ability. You guys really do. We don't get to see a lot of you. I know a few of you here tonight don't come to a lot of council meetings, and you know, I don't want to embarrass you, but you guys.
I'll embarrass him. Melanie, stand up. Stand up.
Stand up, embarrass her. Yeah.
Alexis and Christine.
Alexis, there she is.
Yeah, that's a
Christine. Christine, stand up. You might not want to embarrass him. I have no such problem. Thank you all.
It's it's amazing how we hire people, we bring them to the city, and there's that list, that job description list. You know, we're looking for certain things, certain talents, and we get here and we find out they've got other talents, really good things, and they can wear a lot of hats, and they like to do it, and they're very good. Thank you. And they're very good at doing it. And so I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate that. I mean, it's amazing the talent that we have and how you guys come together and put together projects that really show our city in its true light. And as I was watching that video, watching it for the first time tonight, you know, we obviously as elected officials, most of the contacts we get is when something's wrong, right? It's when it's not going good, or there's a problem. And our staff is incredible at responding to fix those when they can do them very quickly, they do. But to see that video and just a great video to even bring myself, but I can't wait to share that with so many people to say, it's good to reflect back and see all the things that maybe you've taken for granted that we should be thankful and super appreciative of in our community, that our staff is directly responsible for. And in our community too. We've got really good residents. We've got the best residents and business owners in all of Volusia County. And they play a role in that as well. And so that's a great job. And that's what the video actually means to me, is just being able to reflect back and see all the things that we accomplish, and so much of it is behind the scenes, and it might not be I guess maybe the attractive news stories sometimes to see all that stuff happening down there in Virginia Ave, but if you live in the parts of the city that project in its past let you down, or that area let you down, you're pretty appreciative of it. And it's been a long time coming, and it's taken a lot of hard work and persistence to be able to get the funding and move forward on stuff like that. So I just, you know, I could ramble all night about a lot of the great stuff we see there in the video, but it really does mean something very positive to me to see that get put together that way. And I think a lot of our residents are going to see that. And whoever made sure to not highlight traffic on Dunlawton Ave is awesome. Did a great job with that. So, you know, you guys hear us say it all the time. It's the one thing we hear the most of that we have the least ability to really do anything about, because it's just not our roadway, and we say that all the time. And you know, we try. The community development staff and the city managers teams are great at trying to prod and move the needle where we can, and try to get the TPO support and all those
Expanded
things.
turn lanes, $2.1 million
Yeah.
traffic
Yep.
control system.
And every little bit helps, even though sometimes in the grand thing, you know, not everybody really sees it, but it all helps, and it's all very appreciative. And it's nice to see a video like that kind of brings back all the work that occurs throughout the course of a year, and kind of wrap that up. So thank you guys very much. Job very well done as always.
You intentionally did not preview it because you wanted it to be fresh.
I was asked. They said, "Do you want to preview it?" I'm like,
I heard that you didn't. So when I
way.
did,
I didn't either.
and I saw your voice added,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's going to be surprised by that.
Yeah.
You thought you didn't want to be a part of it. You were a part of it anyway.
I didn't want to be part of the blooper reel or anything. So I didn't preview it. I didn't speak. I didn't do anything. So
You stayed off the blooper reel that way.
I laid low and stayed, you know, behind the scenes. That's good.
Drew, your thoughts?
Yeah. So we get to, you know, we were elected and we get to serve up here and make decisions and do all this, but the real work happens out there and behind the scenes. We can't. I mean, we wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for the staff.
Oh, heavens no.
You know, entry-level employees up to department heads. It makes what we do possible when they do what they do behind the scenes and in front of the scenes and every day. So, yeah, the appreciation for that is just, you know, maybe we don't show it or say it enough or whatever, but it's there because you know, when you have good folks and we have these department heads and these people working hard, it makes what we do a little bit easier. But the credit goes to them because, you know, they're the ones making things possible, and so all the credit should really go to them for everything that we do. I mean, we just make decisions and sit here and do things, but they're doing the dirty work, you know.
Hey,
so to
even as an
speak.
organization, we're not perfect, but we will never stop working at it because of them.
Absolutely.
If that's your motion, I'll second it.
There you go,
All right.
perfect.
Reed?
It's outstanding to get all that information into a short, compact video like that is great, because not only will people get to see it here tonight and people see it that are watching live online, but that's the kind of thing you can reuse on social media and people can share it. We all know that that's a very powerful tool. There's a quote from Phil Jackson: "The strength of the team is each individual member, and the strength of each member is the team." And I thought that really applies to this because the city has such a strong staff and works so well together. I know Wayne's approach from the top down is to get all the ideas into the room and try to find out and cycle through them and come up with, what is the best way to move forward and the best approach. And he listens, and, you guys just do such a great job of working together. If you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go together. And this city can go as far as we want to go as long as we keep working together. I think staff's doing a great job. I thought the video was excellent, and it's really an honor to be able to sit here and serve alongside all of you gentlemen. Very happy with the state of our city right now and the direction it's going. So it's awesome stuff.
Chase, cap us off.
Yeah, it's tough to improve on anything that you guys just said, and Mary kicked it off, brilliantly. And frankly, I was hoping you weren't going to ask any of us to talk because I didn't want to follow what you had to say. But I'm coming up on a close of my tenure here, and it's bittersweet for me. It's sweet because I enjoy new challenges. And I'll either be doing this in another capacity or not at all, depending on what the outcomes may be. But I'll focus on the bitterness of it. The bitterness of is, there's an end road right now that's sad for me that I'm not going to be working up on here with you guys. I say that because I love serving with you gentlemen. I absolutely love it. It's been the thrill of my life. We've navigated through some incredible disasters here that the city has experienced. We navigated through a once in multiple generation event together. We've debated heavily, but I think this one of the things that stands out to me the absolute most is the ability, and I say this year in and year out, the ability for this council to come from different backgrounds and different ideas, different perspectives, and still agree to disagree, debate respectfully, intelligently, professionally. There is a sense and level of decorum here that just does not exist in most places. And that's a testament to each and every one of you guys, and the ability, and the, not just the ability, but the willingness to put ourselves aside, and I never question anyone's motives up here. We're here to serve others. So the other bitterness part is, I love serving with this staff. I can ask the dumbest questions, and they never make me feel ignorant for asking them. We have some of the smartest people that are serving this community in the staff level. Not just the smartest, but the approachability that each one of them have, the professionalism that they have. Every department head and worker that I've interacted with, just phenomenal. And that is a perfect presentation of what our city is, the makeup of it. I've grown up here. This is my home, as many of you guys. I was a kid running around these parks here, and this. The makeup and the decorum of this family community, as much as it's grown, we haven't lost that, and I think that is to be celebrated at this state of the city. So those are my comments. I love each and every one of you guys.
Usually I end things. I didn't really have to because I started with my prepared statements, but I did want to share this with you. 5 minutes before the meeting, I had my fun. I asked Christine Martindale a couple opinions on some things. I said, oh, by the way, these are my comments. Can you get them on the teleprompter for me? And she gave me this most horrified look, like, teleprompter. So I had my fun with her.
That's
so
awesome.
I just want to say one more time, thank you all for a job very, very well done. With that, item 5, City Council direction and feedback, priorities and objectives for the development of the 2022 action plan for the strategic plan update. I read again the 15-page document which we created at that point in time, and here we are. This is our guiding paper. This has been our guiding, our objectives, that we came up with. The strategic plan itself. Before that, of course, we had to have a vision and mission statement. Those things work. We don't need to recreate the wheel. But we do need to tweak it and modernize it and bring it up to date. And with that,
Sure. Mayor and Council, Jamie Miller. I just want to briefly, from a staff perspective, thank you for all of your encouragement and kind words tonight. And you're right, I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside such a fine staff. And we did accomplish a tremendous amount of fantastic things this year. But as always, we say great job, and then we continue to look forward and say what's next. So that's what we're here to do tonight. We're here to focus on the next 12 months. And I do have the pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Robin Odegaard and Ms. Angela Chris from USF, who is going to walk us through and facilitate tonight's evening. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be up here with all of you. I just want to say that it's always wonderful to start out with successes, and I think the one thing that stood out to me from the video and your comments was unique by choice, not by chance. And I think that's a great segue into what we're about to do tonight in terms of this workshop. So I'd like to keep that in the back of your mind and in my mind as we facilitate and go through this process this evening. And so we're going to go ahead and pull the PowerPoint up. Just real quickly, just want to kind of share with you a little bit about our philosophy. While we're here to facilitate, this is not our plan. This is your plan. So if at any time I'm using what we call strategery, right? I'm using language and maybe we're not all on the same page, or you feel like you need a little bit more information, or you're like, no, we got this, please just speak up. I don't want to assume that everyone understands a strategic planning process, but I also don't want to assume that you don't understand it. So please let this be open dialogue. I do want to introduce you to our team. You already met Robin and myself. So Robin will be here typing quite a bit and helping us out throughout. In addition to that, we work with the St. Petersburg College Collaborative Labs. They're actually on Zoom, just to let you know, and they will produce what's called a real-time record for us. It's a little bit different than what the minutes would be from this workshop, but it really helps us as we begin to plan and do the final report. Okay, so I just wanted to make you aware that there is someone on Zoom. Okay, great. So one of the other things, when I saw this picture, and we actually drove through it today, which by the way, just absolutely beautiful, stunning coming down the road. I really think, again, this is the focus of what we're going to be doing tonight. It's that road ahead, right? It's that where do we go from here? You just celebrated some wonderful things that you've done in the city, but what are those next steps? So tonight, I would like to do just a quick kind of recap of some of the community and resident feedback we've received, a brief history and background. Even though you may know it, it's sometimes good to refresh. And then we're going to spend the bulk of the time really diving into an action plan discussion, and then a quick wrap up and next steps. Does that sound good to everyone?
let her rip.
All right. So let's just start very briefly with community and resident feedback. As had been mentioned, you had a wonderful town hall, and we were able to get some interesting information. I'm going to talk about that first because the bulk of the conversation will really be on the resident feedback. So a lot of the things that people said that they were interested in or that they love about Port Orange, and we saw this throughout the video. Again, family oriented, beautiful, love the events, a very clean community, that you as elected officials are very engaging with them, and that you're transparent and they feel that they can come up to you and talk to you. And that the city does a really good job of balancing the businesses, the beauty, the open spaces, as we heard with what's going on with Riverwalk, right? And so all positive things that we're hearing from the residents. The survey that has gone out for 2022, it's still in the field, but as of, I believe, this week or end of last week, there was around 1,400, as you can see, responses. One interesting bit of information to me was that 89% of those respondents are homeowners. That is a very large percentage. And when you look at this graphic was specifically taken from, there was a question that said, give me 3 words that describe the city to you. And so if you know what a word cloud is, Robin is amazing at them. Robin went and pulled all of that data down from all those 1,400 responses and was able to create this. So the bigger words that you see means there were more people that said it. The smaller words that you see, there were less people that said it. So again, you can see friendly, nice, beautiful, safe, clean, traffic, family, pleasant, busy, peaceful. All of these words really begin to describe the city to the residents that responded. In addition to that, they had a scale from 1 to 5, how they would rate their overall satisfaction of the city, and you guys were at a 3.94, which is amazing. Great response. Your residents and citizens are feeling engaged and connected to what you're doing. So how does that relate to what we're going to do tonight? So there's a couple of other things that I wanted to share with you. One of the questions was in ranking the city's goals in order of importance. So you have 6 strategic goals that came in your 2017 to 2022 plan. And as you can see, public safety and quality of life are really at the top. With public safety coming in at almost 48% of respondents to date. Supporting that is the #1 issue that they feel is important, followed by quality of life, and then infrastructure. And then when you get down to economic development, fiscal sustainability, and organizational excellence, those are kind of all on the lower end, but definitely public safety and quality of life really come to the top as it relates to what your residents are saying. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to do is I just wanted to talk briefly, and again, I just want to make sure we're all starting off on the same playing field, because I'm not sure who was here and who wasn't. So as was mentioned, the vision and mission were created in 2015. This is what it is as of today. You have a lovely poster outside near the elevators as well. And then you had goals that were created in 2015 around those 6 key areas, but the plan was from 2017 to 2022. So today, what we're doing is we're going to be looking at those 6 areas, but specifically goal statements and objectives around those areas. Okay, so I just want to talk briefly when we think about, again, I used the word strategery earlier. Some people there's a big difference between action planning and strategic planning, right? And so we want to make sure that you as leaders are coming up with that vision, that high level vision of that unique by choice, not by chance, right? You're making the choices that are going to help you in the future. As I heard all of you commend your staff, when you look at this, they're on the left side over here, right? They're doing all the stuff to support the strategic plan. They're very tactical. They're very internal to the organization. They're letting you know whether they have the right resources to accomplish your vision. You, as leaders, are on this right side. You're thinking in advance of what we want the future to be, right? You're considering the internal, but also those external factors. I heard you mention traffic and say, hey, there's not much we can do about Dunlop, right? That's an external factor. But maybe there are some things that we could do that we haven't thought about outside of the box. That's where you come in. You are the visionary leaders. And so I just wanted to set the stage as we go into this discussion tonight around this kind of strategic and operational, because we want you to be up here, right? We want you to be at this high level thinking about that future of Port Orange. So why is it important? So I've had a lot of discussion with Jamie and the city manager as we begin to look at the population shift that had occurred. And to me, this was really, really interesting, and I'll tell you why. A lot of your growth has happened between 2000 and 2010. There was a Great Recession in there, right? 2008, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question becomes, were you able to do the things that you needed to do after that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. However, you had people who invested in your community. They are living here now. They are your residents. They are your citizens. So the reason for the strategic planning, not just the operational, but the strategy behind it, right? It's not about growth per se. It is about focusing on the strategy going forward for those people who have invested and are living in this community now. So I like this quote, and Robin speaks like 2 languages. I speak 1 English, so you'll have to forgive me. But this is a French. He was an aristocrat. He was a commercial aviator during World War II, and a lot of his literary works did not become really famous. They were posthumously famous. So I always love this quote because I feel like a goal without a plan is just a wish, right? And so we can say, wow, we wish that we could do this better. Well, that's great. We wish all the time, but we have to have a plan that goes behind the goal. And so that's why this process is important, and it's important for us to think about those people who are living here, and what that means to moving forward. Okay, and again, this goes back to the strategery, right? Kind of 3 different things we're going to be talking about. Goals. When you think of a goal statement, it's that broad statement. It's that future. It's what you want. It's, if you were to write a goal statement, it would say, wow, I can envision that. Like, I can see that. The objective is really the action. That's that measurable piece, okay? Whereas the action plans, all these people back here, all these wonderful staff members, they're doing all the action back here, right? That's the internal piece. So I just wanted to make sure that meaning and definition, as we begin to dive into this process tonight, that's what we're talking about. Goal, very broad, right? It's a desired future condition. It's where you see quality of life within the city of Port Orange in the future. Broad statement. Objective is kind of how you're going to get there and what measurables. So I just wanted to give you a quick example. So a very broad statement. Infrastructure and public services that support Flagler County's desired quality of life and vision. It's very broad, okay? But then when you begin into the objectives, you can see there's all action words. Develop, review, develop a new strategy. And so that's what we want to get to tonight. And we're going to do some exercises to get there, but just really wanted to clarify goal statement and objective.
Bless you.
Okay. Are you guys ready to work?
Let's go.
You ready? All right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation around, these are the current goal statements as they exist. And we're going to have an open discussion around each of these. So public safety, I'm going to read it, and then we're going to talk about, does it still resonate? Is that still accurate? Do we need to paint a different picture? Does that statement paint the picture where we want to be? All right, so to provide excellent public safety services for the residents, businesses, and visitors of Port Orange by maintaining preparedness for emergency and routine events within our public safety infrastructure. Is it too wordy? Does it get to where you want to be? Does it say, this is the vision we want?
Anybody have a problem with that?
No.
Personally, I thought we nailed it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that is-
can you talk to me a little bit about routine events? Can someone speak to that, maybe? What that's referring to. So I get maintaining preparedness of emergency with the safety infrastructure, but what would be, what were you referring to there? Because I'm having a hard time grasping what that meant.
Day-to-day type of significant impacts, like we have 10 public schools in our city. They've got to be prepared for the routine event of people getting to and from those schools throughout our community, special events. We have tremendous amount of athletic programs and things like that, and our public safety teams have to be able to respond to those if they're needed. You know what I mean? So I think maintaining preparedness for the routine things, or to me at least, are the things that occur seasonally and frequently throughout the course of our city.
Okay, so that has
As well as the night, like my background's from the police department.
Oh, okay.
So the routine of the police department is there's nothing routine, right? So
Right.
the same thing with the fire department.
Yeah.
They have
In fact,
no clue what that.
Let's
next
move
thing
backwards
is,
a little bit here, and to help you facilitate, I think you should know basically what our day job backgrounds are.
yes.
And Drew, your background,
Fire department.
how many years?
About 26.
26 years, the city of Port Orange. Scott?
Back retired police department.
Chase?
I was a pastor for 10 years and an educator for 10 years.
Okay.
And I work in music, social media, online services, several different categories.
Small business.
Small business owner.
Very nice.
And I am a residential lender. I work for a rather large non-private lender in the state of Florida as a home lender, and I've got an extensive business background
Wonderful.
as well as a
Well,
master's.
thank you all for contributing your sound like you guys are very busy. So yes,
Endeavors.
that is very helpful. However, if I am a citizen, and remember, you're having your staff buy into this,
Mhm.
and you also want to promote this out to the citizens, because there is going to be the ones that are going to be able to help you move this along. I wouldn't know what a routine event is if I'm not engaged in government. I wouldn't know what that is. It's not going to paint a picture. So we want, I get the excellent public safety within the public infrastructure. I would recommend that we try to change up the word routine. I think preparedness for emergency, is it just events that you're prepared for? But you're preparing for,
Hurricanes. I mean,
When
a lot of things.
we talk about routine events, we have probably, and Susan can correct me, between here and Riverwalk Park, probably 40 different events on a routine basis between the two campuses and externally in other places where we provide routinely public safety,
and is that only for city events?
not necessarily
So could we say,
city sponsored or private.
so community events? Is that, I'm just trying to get to resonating in a place that makes a statement, right? That's all.
Routine public events.
Or public events, I'm fine with public events.
Mhm.
I just think routine does not paint that statement. And when you say, so I'm assuming emergency, so it's emergency events and public events, or it's emergency issues? Emergencies? I'm just trying to get to the picture you're painting, that's all.
I understand the exercise, but I'm fine with the routine.
Okay.
It looks
if
like
you're fine with it.
that's just me. But
Okay.
I understand the exercise is we're trying to.
I could go with the word public instead of routine, but at the same time, I think we're parsing a bit too.
You know, some of the challenge goes back to what you said when you came up to the mic about how you like the comment about unique by choice, not by chance. That's not a slogan in Port Orange. We do things and provide services in our municipality that are not provided anywhere else in this county and in most places of the state.
Yes.
So when we say a routine event, we talk about school zone traffic, that occurs 185 days a year in our city. I promise you that the residents who live out off Taylor Road think that's a routine event in their life, because every single day they are thankful that we have multiple police officers.
It
and
might be
community
routine
service.
for us, but
Yeah.
community service
And so
officers.
that's, you know, that's the first routine event that they need our help, public safety's help, to get through that so they can get to where they got to go.
So that's
that's
exactly-
kind of how we see that.
Yes, but that's exactly what I'm saying. You see it that way, but not everybody else does. So 5 years.
You mean outside of our community?
Yes. So that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say is
People in Port Orange
you're
that may not see
providing
it.
these unique services, right? That are
Right.
by your choice that you wouldn't necessarily see. And so how do we, to you, if you're in here, like let's say I live in Tampa and I'm like, okay, I'm interested in coming to this coast.
Mhm.
And because I'm a geek, I'm gonna go read through everything, what are they doing, all that stuff. I would be like, okay, that tells me a little bit, but routine events, I'm like, okay, it's just city events. What you said is totally different than that. What you said is, we're providing a public safety service that is very different than what anybody else is doing. That's what you just said to me. I don't know if they all agree with you, but that's what you just said to me, which makes you unique. So how do we put that here is where I'm going. Because that is a goal. You want to stay that way, right? That's what I'm hearing.
What about instead of routine? What about daily events? Does that change it at all for you? Somewhere where it's like, because this is a daily. We have daily occurrences. We have things that when we want to be prepared. Ultimately, it's providing public safety. We're trying to make sure that no matter what comes at our residence, that the city is ready to respond, whether that be what occurs in an emergency or whether it's routine, which is why that's what it says now. But there's a lot of daily events, but we try to be ready to respond, ready to act, ready to provide that service.
Okay. Wayne, did you want to comment?
I just remember
is
when
he
we were.
okay, Mayor?
A quick question before.
Yes.
Do you what's the point of having the end part by maintaining preparedness and emergency? When I first read it, it was roughly long. Is there a problem with just stopping it to provide excellent public safety services for the residents, businesses, and visitors of Port Orange?
Nope. Nothing wrong with that. You could do that as well. Although I still think by doing that, you're missing the point over here.
So it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is you're suggesting that instead of the word routine, we put unique there.
You can put whatever you want. All I'm trying to say is I'm trying to make it a statement that goes to where you want to be, which is either maintaining where you are, because what you just said to me was, we do things that others wouldn't do. That's why we're unique. We choose to do this. People know it's routine. If they're going through this school zone or they're doing this, that this is the service we provide. I can assure you not every city does that. And so that's what I'm trying to get to. It can either be very simple and you could stop it, as you mentioned, or if you want to paint that picture, then you do need to figure out some language in there that does that. And if there's consensus that no, you can keep it short, that's fine. But I still think that statement piece of what you just said is what's so impactful.
But wouldn't you have the issue too, okay, you change the word routine to unique, and then somebody reads that and they're going to be like, well, what unique event? So
Yep.
you could put, I feel like you could put any word in there and somebody could pick it apart or break it down differently because of all the different personalities and thought processes and whatever. So it's, you know, you can, all emergencies are different. No two are the same. I can assure you, no two police calls are the same, no two house fires, car fires, they're not the same. Similar, yes, a car's on fire, but is somebody in there? Did somebody, you know, what caused the fire? So they're all different, and it's very difficult to plan for an emergency because they're all so different. So the guys train, you know, they're prepared with tools and they train and everything, but you know, it gives them the knowledge to go out there and do it, but then they have to react to what's in front of them when they get there.
Let's think about why the words are there. We said, you know, you can use the word ordinary, routine, whatever, and emergency. I think the point of it is that public safety doesn't just respond to the emergencies. They're there for the everyday things.
Yes.
We're there for, we respond to calls, but we have two very proactive agencies. So we are there for emergency events as they occur. We're there for the things that are the planned everyday, monotonous or not so monotonous. There's nothing monotonous about 70,000 people being on our campus for family days, but that's the two spectrums that we're talking about. We don't just focus on emergency calls. We focus on how do we improve people's lives every day. So for me, when we say routine, we could expand that a little bit, but I think routine kind of, you know, routine for us, is there a better word? Routine Port Orange events, however you want to say it, but it's that contrast that we're trying to make there between the ordinary and the emergency.
Well, and I think the word you used that was impactful was proactive.
Yeah, that's a good word for sure. I'll take one stab at just kind of rearranging this to make it say something a little different, but yet it's going to say the same thing ultimately. But what if you were to do something? I'm trying to make sure I have it right here. I've been jotting it down. So, to be prepared to provide excellent public safety services for residents, businesses, and visitors in Port Orange, from everything from day-to-day operations to emergencies. Something where it's a little more compact. It turns it into the same thing, but then you're just basically you're putting in day-to-day instead of routine. But that means the same thing.
Right. So could I get a consensus that we may wordsmith this a little bit? Obviously, it's going to come back to you, but we would wordsmith it a little bit to make sure that we are including the two things that I think I've heard everybody say, which is being prepared for emergencies, but also being proactive. May not be routine, but you're proactive in those day-to-day events, that you are part of the community. Is that correct?
However you phrase it, I don't really care as long as we maintain that contrast that we're there.
Yes.
When we're needed, and we're there for the things that we plan for.
Perfect. That helped a lot. I'm sorry. I think the city manager, is it okay if he?
Wayne, have you got a thought?
No, because of what you were saying, we just hired 2 chiefs this year in my first year as the manager, and as you were having that conversation, we all were talking about our shared vision of what was important to us for our public safety leadership. And exactly what you were saying, and I think that's what she's trying to make sure you get out of this, is that I was told you better not hire chiefs that don't do more than the minimum. This is not a city that stops at the minimum. This is a city that does community policing, that does go above and beyond the minimum. And we hired 2 gentlemen that you highlighted in the video specifically for that purpose, because both of them have that ability to get there. And I don't have the exact words either, and I appreciate the flexibility to get there, but that's what I heard you tell me. And when you were saying that's why I think what she's trying to pull is, it's not really about whether it's a hurricane or a Christmas parade, but the bigger picture of how we provide police and fire services that you aren't likely to get in every other city in Florida. And that's why we hired the 2 we did.
You're talking
Sounds
about
like we
going
have a
above and beyond.
Yes, sir.
You have a little staff concurrence here.
Yes.
I think Quadra.
All right, great. We're going to move on if that's okay. We'll wordsmith that and come back. That was a great discussion, though. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about infrastructure. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and read that. I'm sorry. I'm going to.
We're still for it.
Okay, but let's talk about it. You know we have to have discussion. Okay, so to preserve and develop city infrastructure, excuse me, and assets through careful planning, construction, and maintenance of transportation, drainage, utilities, and facilities in order to ensure the safety and viability of Port Orange for its residents, businesses, and visitors. I really don't know what that says. Help me. Somebody. What did you mean? Or what does it mean to you now? I'll take that.
When we have a more generic conversation, and let me go down the, what is infrastructure? The definition of infrastructure, what does it mean to you, Drew? A little bit more germane.
You know, you look at it and you're like, infrastructure. People would be like, okay, what is that? But it's everything that's needed to the roads, the pipes under the ground, the drainage, the water supply. So all those are part of that. The city buildings, I mean, this is part of our infrastructure. City Hall, it's where the city business is done, the headquarters of the establishment or whatever. And so it's everything that the city needs to function on a everyday basis. We've been planning for a few years for that community center. Now it's coming to fruition. That's part of our infrastructure.
Years, decades.
And it's been decades in the making, just like.
So if I could interject real quick, I was just going to say, so agree with you 100%. The nugget that I'm looking for is that vision of infrastructure. So all the stuff you're doing is amazing, right? We saw it. You're doing it. But if you're thinking, and this goes for everybody answering in a minute, if you're thinking forward thinking, right? It's that high level strategy. You're looking into the future. What does that picture look like? If you were going to draw a picture or paint a picture of Port Orange when it comes to infrastructure, 5 years out, what does that look like to you?
Good question, because I think sometimes too you got to react to what technology will allow you to do. Technology may come out in the next 4 or 5 years that can change the way.
So there's a
we
word
do
that we
things.
need to include called
I
adaptability.
I don't have the word for it, but you kind of have to respond and react to what you're able to do and what the technology will allow you to do.
Chase, same thought.
Oh, man. I was agreeing with everything that Drew was saying, and not much to add. When I look at it, we want to preserve what we have. We want to develop infrastructure with strategic planning, careful planning, construction, maintenance of our transportation, our roads, our drainage, our facilities, to ensure that our residents are safe. We have safe drinking water. We have clean drinking water. We have safe roads, and we're viable. We're going to continue to thrive as a city with our planning of our infrastructure. As I'm thinking out loud, trying to word it to where, as I'm reading this out.
Read your thoughts from the 10,000-foot view.
So, you mentioned proactive when we were talking about public safety. To me, proactive is a great word to somehow get into this one.
Okay.
Because the infrastructure, Port Orange is an older city. It's been around for a while, and it developed on the east side, and it slowly has made its way westward and westward and westward until we're near build out. Now you're seeing it start to go the other way. There's some projects like Riverwalk that are occurring over on the east side. The infrastructure over there is a little bit older and needs to be replaced, needs to be worked on. And those are things, when you do those projects ahead of time and you do them proactively, then it ultimately is better for the taxpayers fiscally because you get them done before they become disasters. We just went to Tallahassee and we were asking for funds to help trying to get the pipeline under the Halifax River because it's a huge environmental concern. To me, infrastructure is one that we need to try to find a way to be proactive with. that's something that I can say, I can read this statement and say it's missing from this statement.
Okay, great. And I heard adaptability, which was another great word.
Scott?
Really think
Can you add to it?
Yeah, the only thing I see is I think at the beginning, obviously you've got to preserve what you've got. That's just your general day-to-day maintenance. You're developing city infrastructure by either adding something that's completely new and innovative that we've never had before, or it's referring to newer areas of the city that are being developed. The one that's lacking there, which is probably most relative to Councilman Foley's district, is renovation. But
Okay.
renovation, I don't know that I like that word when it comes to what that is, but that is what it is. If this was your home, that's what you would be saying, is it's time to renovate that infrastructure.
Reinvestment?
It's
Modernize.
it's aging, needs to be brought up to date, brought up
Okay.
to code, brought up to higher levels of Tim jump in, or Wayne jump in, by the way, specs and whatever those things are, the way we would put in piping and do some of those things on the west side of the city today in a brand new community is not how they were done 70 years ago on the east side of the city. So
Indeed.
whatever word we want to wordsmith in
Some
there
of that
probably
stuff
needs to be-
done on the east side of the city wasn't even in the city
Sure.
70 years ago.
Sure.
And a lot of that, like I said, with the technology, there's new technology now that allows them to put longer lasting, water pipes and underground pipes and
Pipeline,
and
that didn't exist 20 years ago.
when they break or there's a clog, they go in there and there's different techniques they can use now to clear it and repair it without having to tear up a huge area to get to a small area. So there's different things they do. So a lot of it is technology based.
I'm just going to add my sentiment here. It might be a little clumsily worded and might need a little bit more enhancement. The sentiment is fine for me, but when it comes to infrastructure, generally speaking, people don't get up and worry about whether they have a road they can drive on or whether their sewage is going to work, or they shouldn't have to worry about whether the trash is getting picked up or whether they're going to get clean water. It has to be there, and it has to be a very thoughtless thing. People need to assume it's fine, and generally speaking, nobody gives it any thought until there's a problem. And that's the way it should be. People shouldn't have to worry about those things if we've done our job to provide good infrastructure. So, thus, the idea of the careful planning and the proactive component of that, so that you don't have to.
So I think I can go home now. That is exactly my point, right? My point is your goal statement should be what you just said. A lot of these things are tactical in there. The whole idea is that you're adaptable, you're proactive, and that for the citizen, they don't even think about it. Your goal up here is our citizens shouldn't have to be thinking about this. It's just what we do. And so we'll work to wordsmith it, because all that is there. It's there. But again, painting that picture, right? That's what we're talking about. And so that was great. I got proactive, adaptive, and I loved the end, the reinvestment into aging infrastructure, and then as well as your statement for infrastructure for your city is people shouldn't have to think about it. It should just be, it should be done, and it should be done well, right?
I think innovative was a good one that Councilman Stiltner said as well. Innovative is a great one.
Okay.
Well, and clearly they don't think about it, because if you look at if you go back to your slides, we have that ranked as one of our very, very high goals for our city.
Angela's a sponge down there. Nothing gets past her. She's got it.
Yeah. and to the credit, again, to our staff, obviously, they have completely understood this goal from this plan, because that's the number. You want to see that number low. It's odd, but you want to see that very low. That tells us they're not thinking about when the water comes on, is it clean? When I flush my toilet, does everything go the right direction? They're not thinking that,
No,
which
and
is
that,
good.
Right, and so again, remember, you're thinking up here. If that's what you're offering, you still want to be offering that in 5-10 years.
We want
from
them to take that all for granted.
Yes.
Well, and how many fewer people this year are thinking about flooding as to what,
Good. We want them not to have to worry about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. We have a lot to cover. Quality of life. Let's go through this.
We haven't even thought about objectives yet. These are just the goals.
That's
guys.
right. Okay, quality of life. Talk to me about this. So, aesthetically pleasing environment, park spaces, community events. enjoying the natural and planned setting. We heard a lot about being family oriented. Green spaces, thank you. So, again, you're thinking 5 years out, and you're like, this is what the quality of life is like in Port Orange. What does that look like?
You know,
Is
this
it-
is always such a subjective term because the
Yeah. Oh,
quality.
yes, thank you.
This is always a subjective term because the quality of life for one person will vary from person to person. But you know, the past several years, the phrase on my mind, you know, the pastor in me continues to think of the phrase being all things to all people. And I was reminded of that this past weekend. You know, while I'm at, I'm putting in a plug for the new Airport Road Park that was had. The ADA capabilities on there, the fact, and it's something that I've continued to ask of our staff every time we have an event. You know, what are there for special needs individuals? So, you know, that's a segment of our population that you know, tends to be on the back burner. But I'm so proud of the city and where we're at with trying to have a high quality of life for people of all backgrounds and all capabilities. So, you know, you know, that idea of being all things to all people has been important to me, and I'd like to continue that route. I don't know where that fits in here, but
So would you describe that as inclusivity?
sure.
I think,
I-
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
very
that
good one.
this goal among the 6 is as aspirational as all of them. Is probably our most aspirational, and when you talk about aspirational goals, those are something that you always reach for. You never quite get there, but you're always striving to do a little bit better. And it has to be, because you can't be satisfied.
That's
Trends
right.
change, things, people change, we have to be responsive to that. So this one is, to me, going to be, when you're talking about all things to all people, nobody can be all things to all people. But dang it, there's nothing wrong with trying your very best. That's aspirational. You know, let's get our best out of whatever it is we have to give. And you know, we shouldn't feel limited. There's nothing wrong with a goal that, you know, some goals you reach and achieve and say, hey, we're there, we're done, move on to the next one. And some of them, this is everyday life in Port Orange. We have a high quality community. We want to maintain that. This is part of what makes a special community special, and we are. And I think it's perfectly okay to have an aspirational goal.
So,
Yeah, I'm struggling to find the right wording of it. I think inclusivity is kind of played out, to be quite honest with you, but,
Okay.
But that is the general look that I'm at. Sorry.
no, you're good. I'm actually going to bounce off one of your thoughts, though. Quality life means something different to everyone. And when I read this one, it's always interesting because when I think quality of life, I think public safety, right? I don't really gravitate towards what is in this paragraph or in this sentence. To me, quality of life means public spaces and events. That seems to be what is focused on inside of here. It's parks, it's Riverwalk, it's community events, it's things to do, it's the rec center. This is, to me, is the quality of life stuff, because it can be so many things to so many people. And I would venture, and I can't speak for 60-some thousand residents at once, but I would think most of them interpret it the way I interpret it, that we're basically talking about parks and rec and things of that nature. You know, I think inclusive is important. You know, it was amazing to see, like he was just talking about at the park, everything they have there that allows children of all ages, of all skill levels to go out and enjoy and spend time with their family in a safe environment. I mean, that is high quality stuff. We're a family friendly city. It's This is exactly where I want to have kids and raise them. It's right here, nowhere else, right? And that's because of the groundwork that has been laid by councils before me and staff that's been here for years. So those are things, to me, I almost wish we would change quality of life wording wise and change it to say public spaces and events, because I feel like that's actually what it means. I can be wrong. That's just my opinion. That's just how I interpret it.
Yeah, and this is why we have these conversations on a high level. I think what you're talking about probably are objectives towards achieving that goal of quality of life.
Could very well be.
Yes. I would concur with that. Are there other comments on this? So one of the things that I'm hearing before, I would love to hear from down here, but so I'm hearing aspiring to be in this goal. I heard that, but then I also heard, I think, from both of you, and I think this is where we need to morph this a little bit, because it's really a perception, right? So what's important to me, my quality of life may be different to somebody else. And so are you aspiring, that's what you've all just said, we're aspiring to provide those services and to be that type of place. Is that what I'm hearing?
So, you know, would you be in a situation where you just have 5 strategic goals and all of them are working toward the quality of life, removing quality of life as one of your strategic goals altogether, because all of these things are incorporated into providing a particular standard of quality of life.
And if you do that, then all of them become objectives to achieving a singular goal.
Yeah, objective to
But then we
achieving
need,
this objective.
and then the objectives become strategies to becoming the objectives, and we're trying to stay at the 10,000 foot level.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
It's that strategy.
And we're
I can't say it.
parsing.
No, but to Chase's point,
We're parsing
quality
the
of life
strategic.
does feel like it is the sum of all parts.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what it, I'm not saying it is,
Yeah.
but that's what it feels like.
Well, I go back to Maslow. You can't have self-actualization without safety and security needs being met. So it escalates.
Maslow, huh?
You guys have any
Abraham
comments on
Maslow?
quality of life?
You know,
President say you should know.
for me, quality of life are the wants to haves. They're not the needs to haves. Your goals 1 and 2, your infrastructure, your public safety, those are the need to have. You have to have that in your community for obvious reasons. The demand is there to have it. Quality of life is the wants to have, the nicest to haves. We'd like to have, and I will say that the term quality of life is used a lot by our residents. So it's something we hear from them, and when you see the reviews, the surveys,
Absolutely.
they use it.
Absolutely.
They use that phrase, so it means something to them. As I see them and I hear them talking about those, they're the wants to have. There's we'd like to have more events. We'd like to have more parks. We'd like to have more baseball fields. We'd like to have more boat parking. We'd like to have more docks, more fishing piers. Those are the things. It's the wants to haves with likes to haves versus the I gotta have it to survive. I need it. But it is extremely important to our residents. And a lot of it is because we've done so well at taking care of goal 1 and 2 that you look to goal 3. All right, we're happy here. You got great public safety departments. Your infrastructure is really good, although that's a constant battle. But on my weekends, while I'm not at home, and those are in play, I want things to do. I want places to go. I want things that make me feel better about living in Port Orange. You know, it's what puts the smile on my face, brings my stress level down, gets me away from the house. That for a lot of residents, and you are right. Whoever was talking about that, it's different for everybody. Your thing may be golf, and the thing number 1 that helps you feel great about quality of life is going out to Cypress Golf Course 2-3 times a week and playing golf. But if you're a family with 3 kids under the age of 10, you may want the playgrounds and all the parks, because that's where you go. There's no admission. You're already paying for that in your property taxes, and you are using it. I mean, I know we all do, that've got young kids. They go to our parks 100 times a year, you know,
Sure.
no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
When we have special events, we have 40, there will be a certain percentage that will probably go to all 40. If not, a lot of them, and they look for those events and things like that. So that quality of life is very unique to individuals. I think Chase's point is very, very valid. As we think of quality of life, we cannot make an assumption that all people have the same physical abilities to enjoy them in the same respect. And we need to make sure that as we are moving forward and enhancing the quality of life, we are doing it regardless of what someone's physical abilities are, so that they can all do that and try to make sure that everybody feels included in those things. And those are big challenges, because it's hard to you're always shooting for 100%, and I don't know that you always get to 100%.
That's the aspirational aspect of this.
But I
can-
think what I heard you
yeah,
say was
pretty high.
community amenities. It's amenities.
Sure.
That's what it is. Whether it's a park, whether it's an ADA accessible park, whether it's a special needs park, whatever it is, it's amenities, and whatever those are to each individual family or person who golfs.
And they happen to be some of the hardest ones to fund.
That is true. Would you like to say anything before we move on?
Well, I mean, it's just a little thing, but different things are important to different people. It was about 2 years ago, I had a conversation in a grocery store, with a guy I knew, but he's like, the city's great and I love living here, but there's one thing I can't do here in Port Orange, and I wish you guys can change it. It wasn't anything we can control, but I'm trying to think, what can't you do here? We got a multitude of restaurants, and he's like, so I'm like, I'm kind of stumped. I said, you pretty much can do everything. He said, and it was just a one-time comment, but he's like, I can't buy a new car in Port Orange. He said, if I want to buy a new car, I have to leave the city. And I'm like, what? How? There's used car lots.
Right.
But there are no new car lots. So that one thing, like all the things we offer, and he comes up with,
Right.
I can't buy a new car. I can't buy a new car in the city of Port Orange.
I thought you were going to say you can't bowl. 'Cause we've
Well,
talked about bowling a lot.
I can't bowl. I can't bowl in the city of Port Orange. But apparently, if we had is there any car dealers? If we had a new car lot, it would make him happy.
Well, I think
We'll set up
Councilman Foley's generation took care of it. You can order the new car; they bring it right to your house.
That's
True,
right.
true. But
That is correct.
Again, that's technology.
There you go.
Happening. But so that one thing, he, I guess he and he had a nice car, so he likes to drive a new car and replace it every once in a while, and he can't do that living in Port Orange. He has to go to Daytona or wherever to get the car.
So
Well, I think that's I'm sorry. I was going to say I think that's a great segue into economic development, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's a great segue. So let's talk. We have 3 more to get through real quick. Then we'll take a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to come back and do the objectives. So I just want to get through these 3 goal statements and give you a quick break. Okay. Economic development. Increase economic opportunities consistent with the community vision by developing and marketing city assets in order to invest in the local economy for the benefit of Port Orange residents and businesses.
Well, when you read it like that,
Honestly, don't change a thing on that one.
Okay,
Leave it just as it is.
tell me why.
Let the city sell itself.
Tell me why.
The city is not in the position of determining whether or not a business is a McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, or Chick-fil-A. Well, we could use another Chick-fil-A. But
yes.
But as far as economic development goes, I'm a believer that business owners take risks. There can be great reward and there can be great failure, but that is on them to do that. It is a very tricky situation when government gets involved in that. And now they're trying to save businesses, and the taxpayers are bearing the funding of all of that kind of stuff. I think economic development for us serves our community best when we show the best parts of our community, and we do that all over. And we let our community sell itself.
Let me build on that a little bit. I think our responsibility in part is to create an environment in which it can foster itself on its own.
Right? But the businesses have to, they gotta
There we go.
They got to rise and fall on their own merits and their own.
I had a neighbor that moved into down from Philadelphia in 2010, and he says, "Oh, you got to get a Wawa here. You got to get a Wawa. You guys need Wawa in Florida."
And then when we finally got, we got 2 Wawas in 2015. And he's like, hey, you did a great job. I'm like, thanks. You know, all we did was create the environment. They wanted to come here. They wanted to make the investment, but the environment was right, and we work with those business partners as best we can.
And it was so successful that they built a second one, and they're just over a mile apart on the same road.
So,
What's great about that though is we did not do that.
right.
No,
They
no.
did.
Right, and so
Yeah.
I think what I'm hearing you say is you're going to support economic opportunities by whatever word we want to use, marketing city assets. I mean, that's what you're saying to me.
We'll do it by focusing on goals 1, 2, and 3.
But yeah, and really, I mean, if you think about it, you look at goal 1, and the number one, the number one core responsibility for government is to provide safety. You got to keep them safe, and you have to provide a clean, safe drinking water supply. If you can't do that, none of those other 4 matter, because they're not going to happen.
Right.
If you can't provide the basic needs, you can forget about the other 4.
No, that's
So-
absolutely right. Well, and you know, Scott was joking when he said it, but he's 100% right. You know, people want to invest where there's a safe environment. They want to invest when they have proper infrastructure to move traffic in and out. You know, those are the things that do spur investment.
If you want to change this to say something, that's exactly what you put on there. So to focus on all the other priorities so that this takes care of itself.
Well, and by design, you know, the other thing we have to remember is that Port Orange is long history of predominantly being thought of as a bedroom community. This is where you live. This is where you play. This is where you de-stress. And yeah, we have businesses. And we have very successful businesses and great business owners.
Yes.
But we're not Orlando. We're not a place that's going to have millions and millions and millions of square footage of industrial development, commercial, you know, high commercial development, things like that. It's not who we are. It's not how we're set up in our community. So we are a bedroom community, and if anything may be there for economic development, we would probably want to incorporate how do we support regional development for our residents, because a lot of them do. They live here, but they don't work in Port Orange. You know, they go regionally to
There's
Orlando.
a reason why we participate
Daytona.
in Team Volusia Economic Development
Right.
Corporation,
Okay.
even though most of those
Very
businesses
interesting.
are built, most of those people that work there live here.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I was looking at the strategic plan this weekend, this was a goal that I had the least amount of problem with the wording. When we get to it, I think it's the objectives are the things, this is the one we're going to work the most on. And at least that's my opinion. But there are things that, with the environment, I took a lot of criticism personally for supporting the investment we made in the appearance on Dunlawton. With the, you know, we did when we invested in those medians. It cost a lot of money. It wasn't all ours. It was some ours. It was a lot of the state's money. It's their highway. But the reason why that's part of creating that environment. Those businesses up and down Dunlawton pay a huge amount of taxes, which makes it easier for our residents to afford to live here. That's so. The things that we do to maintain a business environment and reinvest in ourselves and our infrastructure and the things that we do, you know, that's why I feel like we're right on with this goal, and we're probably going to talk more about the objectives in this one than any other, but that's just me.
Okay, and so we did add some things in here, the words again, and we may wordsmith it a little bit and bring it
Spice
back
it
to you.
up.
Okay, but we heard community vision needs to stay. We heard that, right? We heard the regional piece, and then again, really providing those or marketing those city assets. So I think it's all there. We may wordsmith it a little bit, but I think we're all on the same page. Okay. All right, last 2. Fiscal sustainability. To enhance the fiscal sustainability of the city through both technology and sound financial decision making to ensure the organizational viability needed to serve the residents and businesses of Port Orange. Do you think fiscal is a good word? I'm just asking. Some cities.
What's the alternatives?
Financial.
Okay.
Some cities, they feel that the word financial resonates better with their residents. Some people say fiscal. I'm asking,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm good with that.
I've never heard fiscal used out.
Yeah.
Well, you hear it used outside of government.
Fiscal's a
but not as
government
much.
word.
That's what I thought.
You hear financial responsibility.
I think financial gets, at least changing the title of that gets to, if I were to see that, I'd be like, okay, I know, they need to put, diversified revenue streams in place, and they're going to figure out how they're going to be sustainable if another recession hits, right? That's what I'm going to
Yeah.
do. So, okay. What about the actual wording of it?
Wordsmith it. I mean, I guess maybe this might be one of those ones where it's easier to tell you about who we are when it comes to our financial sustainability.
Yeah,
We are incredibly financially stable city. We have been able to do that with one of the lowest tax rates in the county.
Okay.
So we get big bang for the buck, and we don't put our residents in debt. We don't put our city in debt. So we're very responsible with the taxpayer dollar.
Okay. That's
when,
very
when we have, we actually, however you want to wordsmith this, but like, we try to achieve more than the minimum standards to protect the community assets. GFOA recommends 16.7% in your
Fund balance.
thank you, in your fund balance for natural disasters. We've set our policy at over 35%. We want to at least double
Welcome to Florida.
that.
Yep.
Right, because but a lot of communities in this county have not done that, and we have done it. We've done it for a long time, and when we've had 2004 back to back to back major issues. We didn't miss a beat. We can pay our bills, we can pay our staff, we can take care of disasters. we can
2016,
keep moving on.
2017, we had neighbors who had to borrow money.
And other communities are having to
I
borrow
was
money.
just going to
so
bring that up.
however-
Other cities have
Yeah.
borrowed.
However you want to
We've never
wordsmith
had
that
that.
all in there.
Not from us,
Those are
but-
the things that are important to us to be able to do
Well, I
that.
think technology is key. I think that's key here. I think the other thing I'm hearing is good stewards of taxpayer dollars and planning
Yeah.
for the future. That's kind of what I'm. So.
And we want to
hearing.
be able to respond to the unexpected.
Okay,
And
that's
many
good.
times you've got to have money. We had a pipe burst out on Taylor Road a couple years ago. I think that price tag was $800,000, right? We got to have that. We got to have the financial stability, sustainability. We got to have the money to go and handle those things right now.
Okay. You got that? I did.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and it shut
Any
down
other
that
comments?
road
That's
during the
very
school year
helpful.
for
Anything
weeks.
else on that one, guys?
No, I think we're good there.
All right, number
Okay.
6.
All right, 6, to enhance organizational efficiency and effectiveness through a highly motivated, committed, and stable workforce that continuously improves services and positive communication to better serve internal and external stakeholders.
And that's where illustrious city manager Wayne comes in. That's why he's here.
Wayne, do you think everyone is highly motivated, committed, and stable?
Yes.
Okay.
And if not, he's got a plan to get him there.
So,
And I'm a big believer, I've said this and I probably said it at that workshop, that you've got to have systems of continuous improvement because you can't afford to stagnate. And that was we had issues with stagnation a decade ago that I never want to repeat again if we can help it.
The only thing I'd love to see if we could find a way to wordsmith it in there is the word talents or something that describes that, because some of the biggest successes we've had in the last 5 years have been from employees who had unforeseen talents that came to the forefront, and we've been able to capitalize on those, and the city has done well in all those other areas because of those things. And I don't know how we put that in there, but I think the more talent that you can bring in, the more you can improve your organizational excellence.
How do we enhance our human capital?
Right?
So-
And how do we keep
Go
that?
ahead. I have
Great
a
word
question,
on that.
too.
And I don't know how you would put this in, or even if it is appropriate to be in the statement, but succession planning is very important in any organization, particularly with the talent that we do have in here. I mean, I always prefer seeing people rise up within the ranks and taking over the leadership. I hate going out and bringing in outsiders here to our home. But you know, that's good because you bring in new ideas that way as well. But I love the idea that we're all constantly working to invest into ourselves. We're working to prepare someone to replace ourselves.
And that actually was objective number 5.
Yeah.
And positive communication. I want that to stay in there. You know, positive communication
Yes.
has a positive work environment. Everyone's going to be, it creates that bleeds into the entire community.
I also think if
I
you're
think-
going to capitalize on the, I'm sorry, John.
No, you're
If
good.
you're going to capitalize on the efficiency and effectiveness part of that description, you've also got to talk about innovation, technology.
So if I could interject
Like
real
that.
quick, so this was going to be my question, because you're all talking about this, but take this out of it for a second. Don't look at this statement. And if you were to say, this is what, for the city of Port Orange, this is what organizational excellence looks like. What does that look like to you? Because this says a lot, and you guys are all going around it, but I feel like, again, you're looking out. Because you're doing a great job right now. That's obvious. You got wonderful staff. You guys accomplished a lot, but going forward, succession planning would obviously be one of them. That would probably be an objective under this goal. But what does, when you envision organizational excellence, what does that look like?
Looks like consistency. It looks like trust. You know, trust is a big one, I think. I don't like stakeholders at all, not to go back to that, but I just feel like that's a really strange word for a government. Citizens working together as a team. But I think it comes down to confidence, right?
Mhm.
You want residents to feel confident.
Great.
I will say there's a lot of residents right now. We've had some technology issues with bill pay, and that's very well known. You want them to have confidence that the organization is functioning and that the people here are doing their best and that they're going to get the results they want.
That's
Well,
an
and
excellent point.
To piggyback, or to add to that, well said, it adds to that subjective quality of life that we all have. You know, when someone is going to call in to pay their bill, they want to know someone's going to be there to answer it and handle it appropriately and respectfully. Or they can log online, they want to know that internet is working in order to pay that bill. And a business is going to apply for a permit, they want to know that thing is going to come out because time is money. So, I mean, it directly goes to the quality of life of residents and business owners alike.
And technology is a big one there. Like he's just talking about permits, all the things we've done to update. Chase, you just said one more that triggered something in my mind. I just lost it, but it was a really good one. If I think of it, I'll shout it out here in a second. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's focus back on the wording of the goal itself, because we're drilling down into objectives again, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because those are notes that we'll use later, but I want to make sure that we get through this part of it.
Oh, customer service.
Customer service.
Customer service.
Okay.
That was what I was trying to think of, because what Chase was talking about, answering the phones. The mayor likes to, try to be like Disney. We want, one of the highest customer service.
The finest customer service
that's the
organization
quote.
in the world.
That's right.
They call us a Mickey Mouse operation. I take that as a compliment.
And it doesn't matter if you're in government or if you're in mortgages or pastor or fire, police, or you do music and write songs or whatever it may be, or social media. It all has a huge customer service component to it, and I think that is something residents will appreciate a lot if we add focus to that.
All right, so I'm hearing customer service, confidence, and trust in government. Okay. Talent was the other big word. Thank you.
Talent's a good word. Yeah.
Anything else? And succession planning, but that's going to fall as an objective. But I think for building that picture, the talent pipeline, providing excellent customer service, that confidence in government, that's organizational excellence. That was a great point. So, okay, are you guys ready for a quick
Yes.
break? I figured as much. So, all right, it is 7:34. Let's come back at 7:30. I'll give you till 7:40. How about that? Do y'all need all that, or can
That
you
was
do?
a minute more than I was going to give.
Okay.
This actually says 10-minute break, but
I
that's
know,
fine.
it's
We'll be
okay.
back in 5. And we are back. That was a wonderful fast 5.75 minutes. And necessary, I might add, but
How's the infrastructure?
infrastructure works for all of us, right?
That's right. Are we ready?
We're ready.
We are ready.
Okay, you each should have a packet that looks like this sitting at your seat. All right, here's what we're going to do. First theme we have is public safety. So this is going to look a little different than the PowerPoint. It is the PowerPoint, but it's in a different system because in a little bit Robin will be typing and it will be live as she's typing it. We'll blow it up so you can see it better. But what we're going to do is you're going to spend about 2 to 3 minutes on your own writing what you think those objectives should be under public safety. What are those things of how we're going to get to that goal statement? And then we're going to have an open discussion and try to come to some consensus on what the 3 to 4 to 5 objectives under public safety would be moving forward. So let me give you...
You don't want to wordsmith on them, you just want the
No,
idea.
I
The
don't need
idea.
them wordsmith.
Okay,
I
got
just
it.
need the idea. Yep.
Got it.
So for example, one may be increase and enhance community policing initiatives. That's an example of an objective. That's something that you want to accomplish under public safety.
But
Is-
you want this to be able to apply to all our public safety departments, right?
That is correct. This
Okay.
applies to everything.
Okay.
Okay?
So broad brushstrokes.
It's a broad brushstroke. Remember, these are what you want to accomplish. It's not the broad statement. Let's go back to...
So when we're putting down words or statements, we're not trying to reorganize the whole paragraph.
No. We're not doing anything with the goal statement. See objective 1.1, objective 1.2 on the screen right now? That's what we're coming up with. So in other words, the goal statement for now is staying the same. Even though we're going to wordsmith it later, it's staying the same. What we're going to come up with is, what do you want to accomplish? What are the action things under public safety? So the first one would be like increase and enhance community policing initiatives. The other one may be some type of outreach programs for fire and crime prevention. Those are just examples of objectives that you would want to accomplish under public safety.
How many of these do you want from us? Just okay.
You write what you want to see under public safety. Okay? I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to sit there and get it done on your own, and then we're going to report out and discuss it, and Robin's gonna be typing, so go for it. That's fine. I mentioned it. So. Oh yeah, it's being recorded. She's on. She's on.
Is don't change what's not broken objective?
No.
Okay.
Nice try though. 1 minute.
Is this where you're supposed to be playing the Jeopardy music?
Yes, actually, our SPC, who is had to come virtually tonight. Normally, that is what we do. We actually play
no
music when
kidding.
this is. Yeah, literally. We literally do in the breakout
Does it make
sessions.
you feel like you're on the other side of this high school desk, Chase? Make you feel like you're on the other side of that high school desk?
Yeah, I was a little afraid to speak earlier. It kind of reminded me of the teacher I didn't want to answer for, because no matter what I said, it wasn't the right one. I'm almost there. Can you get? No, I can't. That's the best I can do.
Give me that. That was good.
That's great. I know, right? They would appreciate it. Okay. All right. Is everybody done? This is now kind of group participation part, right? So I don't know how you want to do it, but I'd just like to kind of hear from everybody.
Can I
Rob-
be the one in the group that takes credit for everybody else's good ideas?
Yeah, just because for that you get to start.
This feels like show and tell.
Okay.
Well, I put in community outreach and involvement
Okay.
For public safety, and to be honest with you, I got stuck with two here: proactive, preventive. I don't know. I didn't really quite know how to word this. Proactive prevention measures.
Okay.
I don't want to say crime prevention because I don't want it to just apply to police, but because our fire department does a lot of prevention from disasters as well. So those were
Okay.
what I got to start off with.
Awesome. Great.
Reed, what you got?
So, wasn't but a year or two ago, I remember us talking about the ranking of our safety, particularly our police and safest cities, and I think we want to try and strive to rank in the top 10% in safety standards if we can do that. I think that's a good goal, is to really aim for that upper echelon. I think we should be looking to upgrade our equipment, our tech, and our resources. No, you don't like that at all?
At least top 5%.
Top 5%.
Oh.
I like it. It's
Wow.
ambitious.
Wow, that's ambitious.
We've been in the top 2.
Yeah,
There's
no,
that.
oh yeah,
We don't want to lower the standard.
That might be one that goes in that bottom box
Yeah.
there when we're done, but
that's a good one.
I'm going to put a lot of pressure on the police chief.
That's
Go ahead.
okay.
The last
He's up for it.
the last plan talked about establishing that comprehensive emergency management plan. I think it's a good idea to constantly review that, constantly to revise it, which I know staff already does that, but just if that's going to be an objective, there's no reason to take it off. I also had public education and outreach. It's always good, which I think our officers and even our fire department does a great job at doing a lot of that already. And continue to work with other local agencies, which I think is another thing we do well. It's all things it's weird because these don't feel like necessarily goals so much as keeping the status quo of what's been good for so long. Not like Scott said, if it isn't broke. So
You don't have to reinvent the wheel if it's working, but we need the wheel to keep spinning.
that's all right.
Scott?
I've got recruiting, hiring, retention initiatives, and the concept of being able to approve those. A lot of just generational changes as we see folks wanting to get into the public safety professions. They're from different backgrounds, they think differently, they're from a different time, and there's going to have to be some adaptability and different initiatives when it comes to recruiting, hiring, and retention. Need to focus on training and advancements, which has a lot to do with the third one, which has to do with technology updates. There's some of that that's going to go hand in hand, exploring technology and training and advancements.
Training
To
enhancements.
improve efficiency and effectiveness. Adapt and redesign. This is a big one, and this is a struggle because it's not fun. It is just not fun. But as the community changes and the demands change, the service that is needed changes. We have to adapt and redesign. It cannot just be that's how we've always done it. And that's probably a really in-depth conversation for a whole nother day. But
Okay.
and then improve.
Can I just do a quick? So when you adapt and redesign,
to new service demands.
adapt and redesign to new service. So does that go with the retention piece as well? Or are you talking about service demands in the community?
Service demands from the community.
From
yeah.
the community, okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you. I guess I kind of left that part of the, yeah.
You have to react to changing trends.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, DUIs are down because we got so much Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
You know, they still exist, but do we need DUI checkpoints the same way we used to?
Right.
It's a
right.
tool, but, you know, react to changing trends.
Well, and you get, I mean, there's, you know, in the police departments, you know, as your community demographics change and your juvenile population increases, then the police departments are going to have to put more focus in that area. They're going to have to be able to do that. If you know 99% of your community is all retirees, then you're going to have a different focus in those areas. So, you know, for the fire department, one of the things, and we've already kind of started, is adapting and redesigning to the fact that overwhelmingly what they do is provide a emergency medical response. It's not fire calls as much as it is the medical aspect, and we need to, we've already started that process, but we've got to continue to look and see what is that primary service demand, and then are we set up right for it, or do we need to change that, and how does that look, and how do you get there? And a lot of departments are doing that, obviously. And then just improve overall responsiveness. When it comes to public safety, the most important thing for the person in their time of need is how fast can you get here?
So we're
How
talking response
quickly?
time.
Response times, yeah.
Okay.
Well, in maybe even a little bit more broader terms, but not only response times, but the right people coming as quick as possible.
Okay.
With the right equipment, the right training, all that stuff is, I see that all as responsive.
Enhance
Yeah.
service response.
And I think you do it, I think as a city, we do that extremely well already, but you never rest on that. You're always going
Absolutely.
to try to find a way to do that a little bit better.
We don't have to provide medical service. We don't have to, we can send a fire truck with we don't even have to send a
Right.
paramedic. I mean,
Right.
those are basic, those are very basic. You know, we have an ambulance service in
Sure.
Volusia County.
Yeah.
You can wait for those ambulances, or we can, or we can be there on scene doing
Yeah.
what we do now.
Yep, exactly.
And that, the community demanded, you know,
Absolutely.
as a whole, increased response times are enhanced service, and so just within the past couple of years, we started that transport, and so that evolved from a 12-hour a day, 5-day-a-week thing to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and now it's 24 hours
Well,
a
the
day,
original
7 days a week.
objective under this
Yeah.
goal was investigate emergency medical services transport. We didn't investigate it. We investigated it. We came up with a model. We
And-
implemented it.
and
We've
it- and
enhanced
it's
it.
happening, yep.
Now we're talking about how do we enhance and improve on it again.
Yeah, and that's going to be difficult. Because you can always get better, but we crossed that hurdle, and so now you have to keep providing that model. You can't go backwards.
Right.
So you have to keep doing that. And one of my things was the community outreach, but I think,
Okay.
like as far as Scott hit on, I put some words on here, but I really didn't know how to word it, but to try to maybe some sort of explorer program or whatever, police and fire,
Just
to
add it to it.
interest, to maybe try to attract some of the younger kids into the possibility of a career
Okay.
into public safety. Show them the benefit to that, and try to get them in here, right? Because the bottom line, you want career-minded, career-oriented people, not just somebody looking for a job.
Okay.
And so I don't know how to put it in words and make that a goal statement.
That's
but,
okay. No, we just
um,
need the ideas.
yeah.
That's our job.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, let them earn their keep.
Yeah,
so
that's our job.
I think if we can kind of do more to show to the younger population,
Okay.
to show a benefit to that, maybe we could develop those career-minded and attract those career-minded employees rather than somebody that just needs a job.
I had a feeling
Okay.
that we would spend most of the time on the objectives of this side here, considering their backgrounds. And frankly, the only thing I had to add, because everybody here hit on most of my notes, is Last time, we established an effective comprehensive emergency management plan. We've used that emergency management plan several times, and I think it is essential that we go back and revise it, revise that emergency management plan to include the things that we've learned in executing it, so that we can execute it even better as we move forward.
Great. So if it's okay with all of you, we combined a couple. You'll see why. And
You'll need to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For now, also, we're going to move objective 7 with 6, because I think, again, adapting and redesigning to the new service demands, reacting to the trend, that's also enhancing overall service response. So can you just add that? So there'll be 6 under here for right now. I'm sorry, that's okay. So move objective 7 up here. Yeah. Mhm. And that will give us 6 total. Because in a little bit, you're actually going to
There's a lot of overlap.
There is. And in a little bit, at the end, you're going to have to actually pick your top 5 out of all of these. So we're going to, okay? All right.
Before we move on, did we get everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just want to make
Better
sure.
hurry up then, because we're running out of time.
Don't worry. We're going on. Okay, you ready? Go to the second one, infrastructure. You've got 3 minutes.
Jeopardy music.
Okay. I know, we need the Jeopardy music, right? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Do you want me to give you a couple of things, or you think a couple of ideas, or you got... That's perfect. Do you need some examples? I don't think you do. Looks like you guys got it.
I don't know, I like
Okay.
ideas.
So a couple of examples would be obviously looking at addressing the conversion of septic tanks to sewer, maintenance schedule for major repairs to city facilities.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'm putting both of those down.
Okay.
Here, I'm playing it. That messes me up, sorry. I don't know how they do it on that show.
That's why they're on that show and we're not. But bet it all. Bet it all on Final Jeopardy.
One minute. Sorry.
1 minute, no pressure.
You're fine.
I know, there's, you can write 1,000 things for this.
All right. You guys ready?
I hope so.
All right.
We have, we talked about last time developing an integrated master plan. We have a master plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ever changing. And I think that master plan, as a guiding document, flows right into our capital improvement plan for the next 6 years, where we're going to get funding from and the like. But the master plan needs to be revised to make sure it reflects our priorities and the things that are available to us. So my primary objective here is revision of the master plan so that it, some of the other objectives linked right into that to me, whether it be prioritizing funding or the condition assessment, inventory of assets. Those are components of executing that master plan to me. So to me, it really came back to making sure that the master plan is revised and meets our needs.
Okay, great. Other comments, other things?
I think
Investing, I think part of it is, you can plan and do all that, but you have to invest in, make that financial commitment to invest in those things so that you could have the infrastructure needed. And sometimes those demands change. So aside with the planning and constructing and all that, we have to be able to make that investment.
And I think that's a very high level vision. Yeah.
I also thought that one of our objectives last time is and always should be relevant as long as we live in Florida, that we need to be environmentally conscious, making sure that the objective last time was keep low quality water from entering creeks and rivers. I think it more than that now, because we're talking about the outflows that are hurting our creeks and rivers and the like, with fertilizers and unfiltered water treating and conditioning. But I think that I don't care how we word it, but an environmental protection has to be, and figure out how to word it. But environmental protecting our waterways has to be a major component of it as well.
I hope it's not too much of a 30,000-foot view, but proactive renovation of like older water and sewer lines and things like that within the city.
Okay.
Really want to see us be proactive on this one. And that
You live in District 1?
I do.
There you go.
I think we need to make sure we stick to some of the successes that we've had over the last few years and not get away from those. One is proactively prepare projects to be shovel ready.
Okay.
And infrastructure, big ticket items take time. They do not happen tomorrow. They don't happen next year. They take time, and the feasibility studies and the design and things like that that have to be done. We're very proactive to do those things, and we have had some huge successes when other cities and communities were not ready. Port Orange moved very high on the list to take advantage of my next objective, which is aggressively pursue OPM.
Okay.
Other
That means
people's money.
Other people's money.
That's right. So grant funding, things like that, we've done extremely well because we've had those projects proactively shovel ready, ahead of timelines and things like that. Take advantage of bundling projects.
Okay.
It's very, especially in this time that we're in now, the cost to move in equipment and resources for contractors to do things is a large part of the cost. And when we can take care of multiple projects and try bundling those together, which staff does a great job, we save the taxpayers a lot of money. Things become more efficient, more effective, and we improve our assets overall. And then this is a big one for me because I've been here long enough now to see the value in it, but be very responsive, adaptable, and flexible for the unexpected with our infrastructure. Things are going to happen. You put something on a CPI that you're thinking in 5-6 years, we got to be ready to do something with this, and then all of a sudden next year you have a catastrophic issue with something, and now you got to change and deal with that right now.
So I have a question. Do you have anything in your master plan that addresses that?
As far as like
Wayne, help us out with that one a little
flexibility and responsiveness.
Right.
bit. Mr. City Manager, why don't you help us out with that one?
Are you specifically referring to the infrastructure master plan?
Yeah.
I think she's referring to, are you referring to my idea of the flexibility, the adaptability, be able to respond quickly to the unexpected?
Yes,
kind
I'm
of a thing?
referring to that is something in the first goal that the mayor said, which was review and revise the master plan.
Well,
Is there some contingency or anything that's in the infrastructure master plan that allows for you to be responsible, adaptive, flexible?
the fact that there's identified needs, whether it's replacement, I mean, some of the master plans aren't really done, so we have to work on the stormwater on the
Okay.
west side, so some of them have to be completed there partially. We're working on plans on some of the east side areas,
Okay.
so to finish them, the ones that are done or the ones that have been complete do identify a large list, and so your ability to be flexible, let's just say the top 3 or 4
Right.
are by need, but a grant comes in and number 5 is eligible for a grant, you at least have number 5 in there on the
Absolutely.
list of a need. So some of the long-range transportation plans are the same way. We put stuff, we just did the one with the streetlights on Dunlawton. You know, we don't expect tomorrow to turn around and have them turn and say, we're gonna take out all your walk lights and give you free streetlights, but we're ready for it, we have it in a plan. So it doesn't mean we can't get it better and tighter, but we have some aspect of that there.
And to some degree, Wayne, I think it also goes along with one of the other topics, which is your financial
Absolutely.
stability, because like with a lot of these projects, not only do they have to be shovel ready when those opportunities come around and there's a grant, but there might be a matching component, so you gotta have the funds. So if you've got your 10% or 20% match, you've got something shelved and ready to go on the shelf, and grant pops up, city
And that is
managers.
that is a terrific component of adaptability and
Oh,
flexibility.
huge. Yeah.
Because there are
Huge.
times, you know, priority 1 you want to have done now, but you got funding available for number 3. You go get number 3 and get it done and get it off the list.
It's been huge for us.
Yeah.
I've got one more objective
Go
idea.
ahead.
Just we just talked about this at our last meeting, I believe it was, about the possibility of bringing sidewalk repair in-house and just exploring what that looks
That's
like.
terrific.
You know, it may not be beneficial, but just like with the medical service transport, it would be interesting to just explore it and see what it looks like.
Exploration of in-house sidewalk maintenance.
Yes.
Lynn's already been saying she can do it, it's no problem. She said she's got it.
So just
you got
really
you got a coupon for concrete or something?
So really quickly, I just want to make sure, so for clarification, because what the city manager said and what you said, it sounds like there's more than one master plan. So do we need to say review and revise master plans, and then there would be action items under that? Or are you talking about overall infrastructure? That's my first question.
You know, master plans might be plural. Is
For
that
departments.
correct, Wayne?
Correct, there are multiple
Yeah.
plans per type, mostly by type of infrastructure.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Just to add my piece in there, to piggy off on Scott's successes, continue our flood mitigation implementations. You know, I think I'm so proud of where we've come in relation to that. That was a big ticket item years ago when we were coming up. Bike, scooter, pedestrian friendly, you know, the more ways that we adjust to the times and how people are getting around town, and keeps us family oriented. Transparent maintenance schedule, which we have, but I think promoting and educating people of that. People are constantly asking, when's my road getting fixed, when's my sidewalk getting fixed. Bus stop benches, I know I'm getting into weeds here, but
Yes.
you know, sticking with that holistic view of all things to all people, I constantly driving past bus stops and seeing, you know, the type of people that use the buses. Oftentimes are elderly and people that are having difficulty getting around. Just drove past one yesterday. A lady was in a walker and she had to stand. So I think we can get to the point. Now, I know those majority of those are county run, but still they're within our city limits of Port Orange. So I'd like to see some efforts in that.
Okay.
What else we got?
Okay, so we're just combining a few for a second. So just give us a minute. So I think that's enough for now. Yeah.
On 14, I don't think it's supposed to be shelved. I think they were talking about shovel ready. So
She said shovel on the next line. She just typed it fast. Yeah, shelled.
it should be shovel
Sorry about
shovel
that.
ready.
Yeah, I use both, but
Yeah.
it would be more shovel ready is probably.
It's
What do you
below.
like, Tim? Shovel
Yeah,
ready?
we got it. We got it.
Shovel ready.
Shovel ready.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think you use shovel ready because that's more easily interpreted.
Yeah. So just to let you know, we wrote down bike, scooter, pedestrian friendly. That really goes under quality of life. So we're going to move it there. We didn't not put it in, but we're going to move it to quality of life. Okay, ready for quality of life? Move on. Let's go. Here's some examples. You already gave one, which was bike, scooter, pedestrian friendly. Another one may be additional cultural and community events, plan, fund, and build recreation facilities on the west side. Those are just examples. So if you could give us a couple, we would appreciate it.
Your goal, by the way, not that it matters, your goal statement there.
Oh, oops, yep.
Is the one from.
I apologize
No
for
worries.
that. I don't know how that happened. I know. That'll be bothering me until I keep seeing it. Just
Interrelated aspects of what we do.
I guess you can move the bus stop benches here.
yeah, yeah.
as well.
So we're gonna add the bike, scooter, pedestrian friendly, and then his bus stops as well. Oh, that's because you have to go to Slide Master. Just delete it. It's fine. They have it on their paper. They're good. Yeah, bike, scooter, pedestrian friendly, and bus stop benches was his other one. Okay. It's okay. I'm gonna ask him.
Bless you. Thank you. Welcome to pollen season.
Only one?
What?
Only one sneeze? There's no multiples?
It's early. It's early. We're early in pollen season. It will get me.
Oh, yeah.
Always does.
You've had enough? I thought she was leaving. That means I'm out.
She's only got 30 seconds.
3 meetings in March.
No, I would be very upset if that happened. She's like amazing at this.
Wayne, the pizzas are on the way, right?
They said 8:30, we're out here at 8:30.
Okay, 1 minute, or like, not even that.
We're ready.
Are you guys ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
We're
All
ready.
right, let's
do it.
go.
I need like 10 seconds.
Well, that's what we had actually left anyway.
Well, while she's doing that, I want to do a time check. I know we had set on the agenda 8:30. I probably need about an extra 10 minutes. Is that going to be a problem?
These guys will stay here till midnight.
No,
if they
oh,
No,
want.
we won't.
No, we won't.
Not midnight.
We did for Riverwalk.
No. We probably need, this is a good thing. The
Yeah.
dialogue is so good. This is what we want. This is the process that needs to occur. So it's up to you. Probably need about 10 more minutes to get through the last 3 sections.
We will stay.
Just power in. Let's
I'll
go.
stay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're ready now. We already got a couple. Do you have any more? We'll start with you since we already have 2 of yours.
Quality of life.
I'm sure these guys heard the rest, but those are the 2 that were on top.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I can throw 4 at you. Explore ideas for White Place.
Say that one more time.
Explore ideas for White Place Park.
Oh, White
It's
Plains
the name of a road. It's the name of a road. With
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No
That's all right.
worries.
Susan, she's not, is she gone?
The park
No,
by White.
She knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Used to be an old baseball field, and
We've
now
been
it's-
maintaining it for about 20 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
A lot of
long
purpose.
since I played t-ball on it.
Okay.
But, just again, similar to the medical transport. Explore it, see what can be done with it, if anything.
Okay.
Maintain the visual aesthetics of the city, both the features and the medians, things like that. There's a lot of features, you want to maintain those because they do, they help in more ways than one. If we don't put this one on there, then our residents are going to vote every one of us out of office that aren't term limited. Continue looking for traffic flow improvements. Continue to look for them. They may not all be on Dunlawton, but we have to continue to explore those things. And
This can include left turn lane, additional left turn lane extensions,
Yeah.
additional right turn lanes, the whole 9 yards.
yeah,
Goes back to
That's infrastructure, but.
and continue to add and expand on rec programs and community events. You know, we have the rec center coming, and I know that there's a lot of great ideas that are being tossed around on that. And I mean, that's part of what makes our cities family friendly. It's what adds to that, you know, quality of life that I think we need to rename.
So we've missed one. It was after aesthetics of the city. I think it was at medical.
Traffic flow improvements. I
Yeah,
was
I got
saying
that one.
similar to when we did the transport.
Oh, similar to. Okay,
Right.
That's what I missed. Okay. I
Similar to the
apologize.
old plan, which had the medical transport. I think we need to.
Explored.
So if it's okay with you, I would like to move looking for traffic flow improvements to infrastructure.
It's fine with me. I'm still saying what I think about how I
Okay.
think quality of life needs to be renamed. I just think that
Okay.
everything in here is something park or rec related.
Okay.
So if you want to move it to infrastructure, that's where I think it belongs as well.
Okay.
I think and that will be a subject of debate, and it doesn't really matter. It's going to be topic number one for most of our residents, and when they consider quality of life.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
you got everything?
I'm good.
Scott, what you got?
Expand parks and rec facilities to meet future community demands.
Since you're on that one, so you don't have to type it twice, I had that one down, but specifically I wanted to look at Karasi Park on the west side of the city, expanding that, because it's a wonderful multi-purpose facility that we don't have enough parking for.
Mm-hmm.
So specific, put in there Karasi Park in parenthesis maybes,
If you would also on that one.
slash others, go ahead.
Yeah, in addition to that, along the same lines, securing land for those expansions.
Okay.
Because a lot of these properties
Yeah.
we don't own yet, so we would need to acquire some things.
So how do we spell Karasi? We're sorry.
C-O-R?
Nope, that wasn't right.
Yeah, A-C-I.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Scott, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was trying to keep this pretty simple, and the one drum that beats all the time is more special events and festivals for the community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Parks and Rec is always saying they don't have enough of those to take care of. So
No. Drew, what you got?
Kind of, I wasn't all over the place, but adapting to the technological advances and focus more. I mean, we do a lot already, but focus more on conservation and preservation, and perhaps making do more in constructing city buildings, city projects that we're doing and planning. I think we need to make it even more environmentally friendly.
Okay. And the only thing that I really wanted to add to that is, and it's generic, because I know we have a historical society that we can support, but historic preservation in and of itself, it can encompass a lot of different things, that being a component. Supporting them is one component, but just historic preservation. You got you've got Freemanville, there are just so many different components of Port Orange history, big and small, that we need to support historic preservation. And that's a different conversation, but I want to make sure the objective is there.
Okay. Great. Any others on quality of life? All right. Moving on. Let's go to economic development. And you have 3 minutes.
This is easy. If the same thing's not on all 5 of our sheets, we got a problem.
So you don't want me to give you one?
You don't have
Sure,
to give us.
give
You
me-
don't have to give us Riverwalk development.
Okay, there you go.
I'll put it in right now.
I'm writing it down 5 times,
Riverwalk mic drop.
right?
Hmm?
We just do. Quality.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, I'm impressed.
Getting confused with yours, but it's okay.
I forgot to start the stopwatch.
I know. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1 minute. 1 minute. Down there where the
I'm
X
good.
is.
Good.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go? We're close to the end. Bear with me.
I think
We're so close.
we talked about the general theme when we were talking about goals already, about making sure that we have an environment maintained in Port Orange that is business friendly, so that businesses can come in and thrive.
Maintain an environment that is business friendly. Yep.
Support regional initiatives for quality economic development. I think all of us are gonna have focus on the development and the completion of the Riverwalk project area.
Should be regional. Oh, you got
And
it.
actually, Scott, what you said about regional initiatives, I had said collaborative efforts with other local governments, because we have an area, a great example of right on the other side of the bridge,
Right.
which us and Daytona Beach Shores both have area that we can both benefit from. So, yeah,
Oh, yeah, the down under and, yeah.
Good.
up and down that stretch of Dunlop and there all the way to A1A.
Any others that aren't up here?
I want to add that this is near and dear to my heart when it comes to this, but I want to make sure that, and I think it's vital that we actually spell it out as an objective, to maintain our partnership with the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber of Commerce.
It's a good one. I like that a lot.
The organization.
Maintaining the partnership we have with the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, Port Orange, South Daytona.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something to do, and I don't have the words, I'm just kind of thinking out loud, if there's something business-wise on Ridgewood we could do, incentive-wise, you know, to make that area, because Riverwalk's going to be a big incentive on its own.
Yeah.
Well,
But
there are lots of things that you can do up and this is getting into Wayne's area of expertise. So as an objective, do we want to explore, use the word explore again, going into what you're talking about, opportunities to support business development down there, whether it be improvement, grants to help with landscaping.
Right.
Any number of things that we can do to, because we've got a lot of very odd shaped, Wayne and I remember him and I talking about this in his office when he was community development director on a Friday night for some strange reason, when we could have both been doing other things, but we got a lot of odd shaped lots down there that don't necessarily lend themselves to redevelopment without a little bit of help.
Mayor, just say it.
So Reed, great one.
Mayor, just say it. Bowling alley. Just
Bowling
say it.
alley, huh?
Just throw that out there. Bowling alley. That's part of.
Problem that there is with the economic development now compared to when we were doing this 2016 is is how fast the concept of online purchasing has changed economic development all over the country, even in our own city, you know. So the day of going down and open up, you know, an entrepreneur goes down and opens up a clothing store or whatever. Well, now they're having to compete with Amazon and so many of the online markets that now economic development is swinging more towards the concepts of do you provide a service? It's more service oriented versus a lot of retail stuff. Our city by design is not, we don't have a lot of opportunity by space and zoning and things for manufacturing large scale and industrial, and that's not who we are, but incubator business opportunities through grants might be some things where we could you know, look at that type of thing. I know that the mayor has talked about that for several years. I don't know how that works, I don't know how that looks, but if those type of opportunities to help our residents, you know, if somebody is a resident and there's a program out there that we can help support opportunities for them to try to start their own business, I think those would be good things to have in our communities.
And I think that's a great kind of higher level thinking, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're going for. Perfect.
So I liked it. That was a good handoff. I didn't even really do anything. I just kind of gave him the ball and let them run with it.
There you go.
I put just one more additional one is improvements, consistent improvements in streamlining of our permitting process.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
That's
Again, we're you know, time is money, and our department does a terrific job. And more often than not, frankly, more often than not, when I get calls from businesses, it's always probably 90% of them. It's always fun because Tim and I are usually predicting it that the contractor is usually the one blaming the city for their lack of follow through and. So, but nevertheless, you know,
So educating
sometimes it falls.
contractors.
Yeah. Sometimes it falls through the cracks, but we
always
always want to make
education.
sure that we're not the ones, you know.
Absolutely.
Government's easy scapegoat, and there's a reason for that. So.
Good. That was good. All right. Let's move on. We have two more, and then we're going to prioritize fiscal sustainability, which we're now calling financial sustainability. You have 3 minutes. Economic development, I'm assuming Dina is fine.
Yeah, or Lori would, she tell me.
One minute.
I wrote down win the Powerball once a year. Shit, that'll help, right?
Yeah, win
Okay.
the Powerball. That sounds good.
All right, right on.
Just for that, you're going first.
I just got to see which staff member Wayne's going to assign that to. One of y'all better be good at picking numbers.
Certainly, they better be good with numbers, so.
All right,
Why
we're
don't you
ready.
start, Scott?
Sure. Proactive oversight and audits.
Wait, hold up. I'm so excited to start. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
We're gonna see- okay.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Go.
Proactive oversight and audits. Not making high-risk financial decisions. Proactively reducing assumed rate of returns with employee pension programs to ensure stability.
One more time, could you repeat that?
Sure. Proactively. And then you put gradually. Proactively and gradually reducing assumed rates of returns with employee pension programs to ensure stability.
Drew, what you got?
Looking at that one, I mean, specifically, he mentioned that, we both serve on one of those boards, and we've been doing that.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it needs to continue, so we're more in line with FRS, and then just, we gotta adapt to the changing needs, and again, it's all gonna come down to spending, planning, and adapting to what's needed. So, all these things are great, but if we're not willing to spend the money to make it happen, it's never gonna happen.
You have to prioritize
It's-
what you're gonna spend on.
Yeah, yeah, and
So I
so,
would say-
they're all great, but if we can't make that investment, might as well never, set it or plan for it, because it just
Well,
can't
we already
happen.
have, yeah.
Yeah.
been, it's just not been one of our.
Yeah, yeah.
It hasn't been written down as an objective.
Yeah.
Okay.
On 32, where you have proactive audits, oversight and audits, you might want to add a slash and say maintain checks and balances.
Okay.
I
that's
don't
good.
think it has to be a separate one, but we can
Right.
elaborate a little more. What you got, Chase?
Position evaluations, kind of like an audit, but kind of a personnel audit, if you will. Oftentimes we'll have maybe positions that will be unfulfilled for 2 years, and the question is, well, do we need that position anymore? Should we continue to fund that?
Actually, can I go ahead and, because this marries to something I'm
Sure.
saying, we have a new finance director starting, and I think it important, not just do we have do we need this position or not? I'd like this person to take a look at, in time, not immediately, but in time, look at the entire structure of the finance department. department, is it suitable? You know, there are certain positions you need for changing technology and you don't. So, I mean, it not just position by position, but we have a strategic plan to take a look and see that the structure of the department is suitable to our needs moving forward. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Role consolidation. You know, if you have multiple people doing a couple things, are there situations where one person can do a couple things for a higher wage? You know, taking on more workload, but you know, fewer employees. And again, just exploration. And third one, explore increased volunteer opportunities. You know, you look at our police force and the number of volunteers that serve in that department. You know, is that can that translate into all the other departments as opposed to looking for, you know, continually looking for reasons to hire people, or can we explore recreating that mass amount of volunteers in the fire department and finance and so forth, all across the way.
So, thank you. I have a question on 36. So I know he piggybacked off of you, but were you referring to doing like an organizational audit of jobs?
I think that would be more
Okay.
appropriately put.
Okay. What does John Daly do?
Yeah, paid.
Like compensation, not compensation,
Job
but
study,
job classification study. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's you know, standard procedure in any organization.
Right,
You know,
right.
you go through and you look.
Yeah.
at-
No, I couldn't think of the word. It's
Yeah.
getting late. We have a professor at USF that we do these with. It is late. But anyway, he does all of that, and I couldn't think of the word. So. Okay, who else? Did everybody
What
get
you
in?
got? Read them.
Think everybody got?
I think we need to make sure we're maintaining the excess of reserves that we have in our general fund.
Great point.
It's in a good position.
Maintain
and
adequate reserves.
Yeah, that's got to be something we focus on. I think it would be a good idea to review our impact fees, where we are. And I asked
Okay.
Wayne, he said it's been about 10 years since we've even looked at them.
Okay.
I don't know if
Not
that's,
quite
I don't know
that
if that's
long,
true
but-
or not, but
It's been a while.
I'm quoting someone else.
No, that's okay. It's similar. It's interesting that you had that conversation with him recently, because so did I. So it's because that actually plays into something that I was going to say as a general policy of mine, and I like it spelled out in an objective, is that every 5 years, all our fees and charges are reviewed for suitability. We went almost 20 years without looking at our flood fee, our stormwater fee on our non-ad valorem, and it was a big increase. And if we're doing things incrementally and keeping up, we don't fall behind. But I do think it needs to be an actual policy, an objective of ours, to review all of our fees and charges every 5 years for
Yeah,
suitability.
you can scratch mine and I'll steal his.
No, but you throw that under there.
But it's part of it, because you're right. Things like that.
But I would
need
like
be
you to
reviewed.
include the words, including impact fees.
Right.
I think it's important enough to put in the objective.
That's fine with me.
All right.
And
I
then
love these workshops.
also I have to finish to meet all financial deadlines with urgency ahead of schedule. To make sure that if the deadline is the 31st, we're aiming for the 21st, if at all possible. I know that doesn't always apply in a lot of cases, but I want to make sure we're always trying to be ahead of schedule on deadlines.
I was wondering why audit wasn't done on October 31st, but you know.
Don't know where I came up with that idea, but
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Are we good with
standards.
financial sustainability? All right. Last one. You ready? Organizational excellence. So obviously some of the common ones: recruit high quality personnel in a timely manner, looking at possibly two-way communication with citizens. So you got 3 minutes. We just did financial. used to do it. I hope not. It's the last one. Okay. No worries.
I'm done with what I'm doing.
Oh my God, you are? Wow. Okay, 1 minute. Don't you
I'm
like
gonna
how?
start my stopwatch before you start yours.
Don't you? Well, I don't have one. Don't you like how my 3 minutes sometimes they're 2 minutes, sometimes they're a minute? That's just what we do.
Because I've got 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
I know. That's
How we doing on the extra 10 minutes you needed?
Well, this is why I'm using the stopwatch. Let's keep going.
Doing good.
We're literally, this is it, and she's been amazing.
All right.
Guess we still got a long way to go, it looks like.
Reed's still working.
Yep.
Let's give him a few.
I could probably be over here for another 10 minutes, so.
Well, I tell you what, you keep going, and we'll start at this end.
No, don't start at this end.
I haven't thought about that. I haven't started with you, with you, Drew.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Well, in working toward, this talks about stable workforce and continuously, so I think we have to make the investment into enhanced educational opportunities for the workforce.
Okay.
Enhance
Maybe do a
educational
better job educating them and retaining them.
for employees. Okay. That's a good one.
Utilization of technology to improve communications efficiency and effectiveness. This technology is going to be
to
a.
improve communication and effectiveness.
I'm going to use
Ex-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was explore trends and renew focus on recruiting, hiring, and retention practices.
Okay.
And I guess I'm having a hard time explaining that, but what I'm kind of getting at is what made my generation tick
Yes.
doesn't make some of the new
Yeah,
generations
I think
tick.
you said it well.
And so they're looking for different things. So we need to better understand that.
For my part, we made a major investment in ERP, getting the organization to the 21st century of technology, which right now isn't always working that well, but we'll talk about that later, Wayne. But
The ERP.
ERP, we have, it actually was a 3-year plan and major investment to implement enterprise resource planning software within the city. I'm going to use Reed's word, explore, how now that we have it implemented, how do we maximize the potential of ERP to improve our efficiencies?
Okay.
Okay, now that we've invested in it, how do we get the most we can out of it? Chase, what you got?
I come back to succession planning. Always be prepared for, if somebody goes out, there should be someone that's able to step right in and do it. And I think we've done a very good job of that over the years. When somebody's gone out, we've had people that are able to step into the job, and we tend to not miss a beat in most respects. So that should always be on the forefront. Continued positive reinforcement. You know, you want people to enjoy the work environment that they're at, and enjoy and respect the people that they're working with and working under. The old saying, great movie, attitude reflects leadership, Captain. So those are
Okay.
key ingredients to a good organization.
All right, thank
What
you.
What you got, Reed?
Just a point actually first. Councilman Tremont was just talking about role consolidation in the financial sustainability. Would that not belong in organizational excellence actually?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We're going to actually move the last 2 or 3 that he over there, but for the sake of time, we're leaving them for now.
Well, it's a
because
financial thing, because you're taking 2 jobs and
Well,
there are 2
so,
dollar amounts, and
Yeah. So a lot of times you'll have objectives that go in both categories. So you might put it in one and then say also reference to this next objective that's in this section. So that's why I haven't moved it yet, because we need to see what the details of that are. So that's normally what would happen. So it can either fall under either one, but it may be dependent on another objective under organizational excellence. So if that makes sense.
no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I have here, look for new and improved technologies for both staff and for resident facing. We're getting ready to roll out a big update to the website, which I was fortunate enough to be allowed to play a small role in, just, overlooking that process. But constantly, you want to make that, again, it goes back to that trust and that outward facing. I think we want to look for any technologies we can to improve the ability for our residents to communicate with staff. I also have, we need to strive for excellence on public communication through all channels. It's really important that we're being very mindful of what we say, when we say it, how we say it, what photo we post when we're saying it. Every little detail on that stuff matters a lot.
What we do with it.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's great. What else we got, gentlemen? The only thing I had, and I'm not sure it belongs under organizational excellence or not, but it seems like if we want to have a good, well-run organization with good employees, we need to have good relations with our bargaining units.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I know that's a little abstract, but being able to maintain open lines of communication, relationships with our bargaining units.
Love that.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Robin needs to do a couple of things. So while she's doing that, we're going to talk about the last 2 things, and then as soon as she's done, there's a vote that's going to happen. So you're going to need your smartphone out for me, okay? So what I want to talk about while she's doing that, I want to talk about kind of the last 2 things. So one is kind of the process for next steps. And so what will happen is we'll take all of this information. You're going to be voting in a second. We'll also take that. We will then work with staff and begin to kind of flesh out and wordsmith the goal statements, as well as recommendations for the objectives. And then we will actually meet with staff and kind of go through all of that and then come back to you with our recommendations. And so one of the things that we always talk about is, thinking of that implementation plan. And so a plan is only as good as the implementation plan. If you don't have some kind of plan in place, it just sits on a shelf. And so when you think about that, it can be something very simple, as the city manager coming and reporting to where you are on a quarterly basis. It could be a written status update. It could be a dashboard. It could be a tool. But those are the kinds of things that we'll bring back to you once we've spoken with the city manager and his team. And so that's kind of the next steps in the process. And so I just wanted to kind of share that with you, kind of where we are. And so what is going to be pulled up in just a second is going to be a QR code. and you're going to need to scan it. And here's what you're going to do. I believe we have how many objectives?
47.
Okay, 47 objectives. Wayne, you think you can accomplish that this year?
Good answer.
Oh my goodness gracious.
He'll have that done by April.
Oh,
I
please.
forgot my city cell phone, so I can't.
Let me use my.
You can. Yeah,
That's
it,
okay. Yeah, because it'll.
Yeah, make sure you're using your.
it's going to
city
come
phone.
in the same no matter what
City
cell
phone.
phone you use.
Yeah.
But you don't want it because of public
I'm not
record.
using
I got
my
it,
personal
I
phone
got
to do
it.
it. I'm just not.
Okay.
I
Turning
can go get my
So-
city phone out of the truck.
Yeah. So
I have it
forgot
sitting in the truck.
mine.
You give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So here's what. But before you do the QR code, if you have your city phone with you, before.
Hold on a second. Let her finish this, and why don't we take a short 5-minute break anyway?
Okay.
And then we can go get whatever equipment
Yeah.
you need.
So
Don't do it yet.
don't do it
Do
yet.
not- and don't select anything yet, because once you select things, you can't like unselect them. So just
Right.
sit tight.
Okay.
Sit tight. Don't touch
Alright.
it. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
So in a minute, you're going to scan it. Of the 47 objectives, you are only picking 5.
Jesus.
5.
We're gonna be here till midnight.
No. 5. 5.
Can't pick 5?
With number 1 being
Yeah, I
the
can
most
pick 'em.
important and 5 being the least.
To pick 1, 2, 1.
1, 1,
The
1.
least of my top 5 or the least of the 47?
No, the least of your top 5.
Okay.
So you're going to basically
Gotcha.
rank order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Got it.
And that's what you think should be focused on in the next 12
No
months.
problem.
1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4.
Correct. Everyone makes sense. You're picking
Yep.
1 number 1, 1 number 2, 1 number 3, 1 number 4, 1 number 5.
Okay.
And it's what should be focused on in the next 12 months.
You're,
Easy.
I think you're selling him short. Knowing what he's done in his first year, Riverwalk mic drop. I think 5 is too small a list, but that's
But
okay.
we're going to do 5 for now. Doesn't mean there will be more, but for now we're going to do that.
You're right. It doesn't mean there ain't gonna be more.
So.
Listen to the facilitator.
Okay, so if you need a break to get your city phone or whatever you need, get it. And then when you come back, you can get it started. But we would really like you to please do it using the QR code because it automatically populates it in our system. And it's a lot easier than having to manually do it.
All right, we are in a 4-minute and 38-second recess.
Thank you. All right, guys, get to it. Let us know if you need help, if it's too small and you can't see it. There is another computer here. Thank you, Jamie.
Good job, thanks.
Remember, top 5.
Change your password to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
5 out of 49 choices.
Yep.
It was easy to go find number 1 though.
Good conversation.
Yeah, great conversation. Tell Dina thank you. This is it. We're almost done. Like, this is it. Have you had any response?
Geez.
Oh.
Okay, you can't unclick something, can you?
You cannot. You can refresh your survey. Try to refresh the whole thing. You can
Okay.
try it again. That should work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Or it didn't work for me.
Okay. Just let me know. I can make a manual note of it.
Yeah, she can make a manual note of it in the data.
Please select the correct thing, but also tell me what one was wrong that you didn't mean to select, and I will remove it.
Is there a submit button?
At the very bottom, there should be. Has anyone found it yet?
Got it.
Yes. Someone did. Did you just submit? I saw it. Ding. Ding.
That was your first one. You working on your second survey now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can see
Great,
these,
perfect.
and then I get full report of it.
You said we got to score an 80 to pass?
Yeah. Oh.
Should I hold off on clicking view results or?
You can see your own results.
Oh,
I
okay,
think. You'll be
got
able
it.
to see your own.
Got it.
Yeah.
On objective 40, review our impact fees every 5 years. We wanted that to be all fees, including impact fees.
Yes, it may
Okay.
not state that, but that's what it is.
Okay, I
referenced.
just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Thank you for that correction. All fees including
All
impact
fees and
should read.
charges for suitability suspension.
It's just easier to see the report than this thing. Not
Mhm.
40.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is how it's gonna look. It'll tell you how many people, and then it'll average out the numbers. So we need to take a quick look at how many versus the number, and we can do it that way. It should, I imagine a lot of it's homogeneous, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh, I see, okay.
I'm really thinking a second Chick-fil-A should have been on there.
Well, that and Drew's Bowling Alley.
I did the other day, man, there were so many cars trying to get into that Chick-fil-A, they had the entire intersection there, just to get to Lowe's, completely blocked.
2, 5,
Wow.
4.
Amazing.
All right, there's my first one. Let me go take my second survey. Let me get about 4 or 5 of these in there.
I have 3 people who have responded so far. And here's what
want to make sure that my voice is weighted more often than.
Drew's having selection remorse.
I'm just submitting.
I still maintain that our staff is capable of handling more than just a simple 5. Wow, we don't want to undersell their abilities. Maybe I could take them all 5 for public works, public utilities. Maybe I can get a reaction out of Lynn. She's got the budget for it, it's no problem, right?
You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes, you can.
I got 4. I'm waiting on one more.
I believe I did. Yeah, I got the gray thing, so.
No. One more.
I hit review my results, so I had
I
that
received
and I did
5.
view results.
And I will send you a report too.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll send you a report.
I got 5.
We have 5?
I got it.
All right.
Here, let me give us just a
5
second.
for 5?
Got it. Give me a second to look at this. The easiest way is
I hope I passed.
That's fine.
I did study.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We're gonna go. Bear with me. It's gonna be a little bit of scrolling, and we'll talk about them as we go through. And Angela and I will make kind of the analysis here. All right. Do you want to talk through this?
Yes.
Oh. I was gonna say,
You need it bigger?
Sorry about
See,
that.
do you want to explain
Yeah,
how
there you
what
go.
the number?
Yeah.
She's gonna explain what the numbers mean, and then I'm gonna.
Yep. So on the left side, you'll see how many people. If you see any number there other than a 0, it means it had votes. So for example, number 2, objective 2, 4 of you had that in your top 5. The average number among those 4 is 1.5, but here's the details. Each of the 4 people, this is how they ranked it in importance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Why is
that's
it
how
anonymous?
these are, we're looking here. So obviously there's one response here, averaged 5, so one person put that as 5. And I'll just go through and show y'all. This one got a vote, high retention initiatives for generational differences in workforce, 1 person. Objective 10, proactive renovation of water and sewer lines, 1 response. Objective 12, aggressively pursue OPM, grant funding investment-based infrastructure needs, and the average was 2. You'll see number 13, take advantage of bundling projects, and that was rated as a 5 by 1 person.
No, okay, so there's a question right now about showing the votes. We're not showing who voted for what. This is a workshop. We're just, it's a consensus of this is what everybody said. It's just saying one person voted for this. There's no on the back end who ranked what. So this is how the system works. We use it across other municipalities, so I'm not sure what you're looking for. You're going to get a full report, just as everything that's here.
Typically, when we do, we never have secret ballots, but our stuff is always.
Yeah.
Well,
So I wouldn't say it's,
Council meetings, not workshops.
it's not, yeah, I mean, it's not a secret ballot. It's just, it's
we
the voting.
want to be able to effectively respond to any public information requests.
Okay, so,
And I can tell you how I voted on all
I say
5
I'd
of
be
them.
more, I can
When
read
we're
off
done,
my
if
1
we
through
need
5
that.
when we're done if we have
Because
to.
I did not click out of it.
here's my proposal.
Okay.
It'll take me just 1 minute to add a box, what is your name? And then they just re-enter what they picked.
That will make our city attorney extremely happy if you.
Is it tracked by the phone number that made the vote? So you can go
will
back
enter
and.
your name. They will
I mean-
enter their name as the survey taker.
And the only thing that you need that for is retention purposes.
Well, I mean, do you know your top 5? Can you just fill them out on these sheets? Just put the objective number?
I can do that.
Yeah, if
And
you
then
want
we'll
to-
know,
That's
and
not a
then that
problem.
way we don't have to mess with this and you can use both.
Yeah, we could,
Yep.
If you were,
as long as we've got it retained somewhere. Who
Yeah,
did what?
I mean, if you just want to do it that way, that's fine.
I don't remember which order it was. Well, if I could look at it.
I don't remember what they were. Back up.
Oh, view results? Or do I press back?
Oh,
We don't have to write out the objective, so just write the
just write
number
the
of it.
objective number.
Okay, so
Yeah, and we'll know. Just write your name and then the objective number.
And you will see a report of this.
Okay, I can see which ones. If I just put view results, I can see which ones I put.
Yeah, I can show you the next one.
Do you guys need this, what's up here, to see it, or are you good?
It's good to have it up there for sure.
I'll
Okay.
keep it up just a second. I'll get it right back up. There.
Well, there could always be one person that's gonna ask, hey, which one, what did you vote on
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Why is that not public?
Yep.
And they would be correct in asking that question if they so choose.
Yes, they are entitled to that.
I'm just gonna write the number next to,
That's all you
she
need,
wants, yeah.
because this document will go with it, and so we will have both.
Okay. Okay.
Ready?
Where did it go?
Shelby saves the day.
This shows how many different, you can see.
So can we say how many people, how many total?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
how many, no, how many total were checked, no matter what ranking?
Yeah, 2.
Uh-huh. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Can you stop for 1 second there?
17.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
You're good. Just 1 second. 48. So I'm line 3. That makes it easy for me.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to change the name on it, that's up to you. But I could.
I could also just, well, I could pull up your response, just your response.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great. Because
If you know what line you
I'm
are.
not sure which one I had. Yep. So I was responded, or I was line 3, which would make me.
You're here.
There you go.
Then these are your answers.
Beautiful. All right, 1 second here.
I think I'm responding 3. Yep. I'm gonna scroll. Let me know when you're ready.
I think I was responded to. I was line 3.
Okay.
Yep, that would be me right there.
Okay. I'm gonna. Every time I see one, I'll stop. Okay.
All right, so
Here's
10.
one.
There
Yep.
we go.
I can do this for anyone else too.
You need,
You got
Shelby does.
26,
Yep, I have 26. I already got 2 as well.
40.
All right, that was where I was confused. So that was
Okay,
40,
And you put 5,
and then yep,
48, and you put 4.
beautiful. Thank you for
Does
that.
anyone else need their responses pulled up?
I don't think
Are
so.
y'all good?
25, 20,
Cool.
40, 30.
Anybody else need help with marking what they voted on? All right. So while you're finishing up that, so I know there was a little joke around, oh, you only ask us to select 5, right? However, when you look at every single one that was chosen, 17 were chosen. So we're gonna start there, is where we're gonna start. And that's what we'll start with the staff. We're gonna look at everything, because there's 47, but you guys identified basically 17 priorities. Make sense?
And can we,
Yes.
you're gonna take this, but I'm curious now what those 17
Yeah.
are.
I'm gonna let you scroll.
Okay.
I think we all are.
Yep. All right, so you can see the first one, community outreach, involvement, proactive prevention, public education and outreach.
Can you guys see that?
Can you see it, or you need it bigger? Is that better?
That's good.
Okay. Objective 2, rank in the top 5% in safety standards. Objective 5, high retention initiatives, generational differences in the workforce. This is about the adaptability in recruiting and hiring. Objective 10, proactive renovation of water and sewer lines. Objective 12, aggressively pursue the OPM grant funding investment base on infrastructure needs. Objective 13, take advantage of bundling projects. Objective 20, expand parks and rec, securing land. Objective 22, more special events for the community. Objective 23, conservation and preservation. Objective 25, continue looking for traffic flow improvements. Objective 26, redevelopment of Riverwalk. 28, support regional initiatives for quality and economic development, looking at collaborative efforts with other local governments. Objective 30, exploring opportunities to support business development at Riverwalk incubators, grant opportunities. Objective 36, the HR audit of jobs, looking at the entire structure, including job study, classification, benchmarking. Objective 40, review all fees, including impact fees, every 5 years. And 48, strive for excellence in public communication through all channels. And then 49, maintain great relationships with our bargaining units. So those are all 17.
You'll get a report.
You will get a full report that will outline all of those 17. But I really appreciate your participation, and I'm glad we could make the city attorney happy. And you, the clerk as well, right? Assistant clerk. So we got all that. And appreciate your time tonight and really your input. You know, whenever we do these, they can go one of two ways. Either people can totally look at you and it's just, we get nowhere, or it can be like this where you guys were totally engaged, and I really, really appreciate that. That makes my life as a facilitator a lot more enjoyable. So thank you for caring about your community and allowing us to be here to help you make it even better than it is. So I love unique choices, right? Not by chance. Is that right?
Robin, I appreciate your efforts. I appreciate Angela. I appreciate your team back home. Even though if it is on the way on the other coast there. You know, I've worked closely with the UCF IOG
Yes.
In my capacity as Volusia League of Cities president the last 2 years, and they're undergoing some transitional
Yes.
issues right now. So it is because of that, I'm extra grateful for you guys being here for us.
Absolutely.
I do think before we wrap up that you just give us a quick overview of what the next steps are and what the timeline would be look like, so that those that are watching right now know
Yes.
exactly what to expect.
Yep. So the next steps, as I had mentioned, we'll obviously pull all this information. We have SPC doing a real-time record, so we'll have all of this data into one record for you. In addition to that, we will begin to wordsmith and kind of pull together the goal statements and the objectives. We will also be meeting with staff shortly in the near future. We have to figure that out to really kind of dive into those and make sure that what we put on there, they're actually able to do regarding action items, etc. And then we will be bringing it back to you. So that's where we are right now.
And this was a doozy of a workshop. I also want to thank my counterparts here, being able to stay engaged.
Me too, thank you.
For 3.5 hours and achieve a result after a lot of us working all day. It's not always easy, but I think it says something for the commitment that you guys have for the city that we all love, and speaking to the future. So
Great
thank
job.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Good
Thank you, guys.
motivator, good push.
That's right. Run a tight ship.
We, Robin and Angela, work well together. I hope that we can continue to work together as we work on our strategic objectives over the next few months, and wrap this up and onward and upward. Anything else for us?
No, thank you very much. We'll be
Thank
in
you very
touch.
much. We get to do it again next Tuesday. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Is this